Former President Trump holding a campaign event now in Michigan. 3 Iranian hackers are indicted, accused of working for Iran's government to hack the Trump campaign and leak information as part of a broader conspiracy that includes assassination plots.
The U.S. government is intensely tracking Iran's lethal plotting against current and former U.S. government officials, including former President Trump.
Attorney General Merrick Garland telling Iran, China, and Russia that only Americans will decide the U.S. election. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How much rain you just might get. This rain is not going away. Just check the radar. It's currently 70 downtown, low at 65 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. You could wind up getting several inches of rain, all thanks to Hurricane Helene.
The main concern will be the wind. I'm Ryan Hedrick with wind speeds of 50 to 60 miles an hour. You could see power outages and other issues.
We can start to see branches coming off of trees, maybe even a few weaker trees fall down, some shingles and siding off of houses. Minor damage overall.
Matthew Eckhoff from the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says the wind will calm down this weekend, but the rain will stick around through next week. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Plenty of high school football games and other extracurriculars have already been postponed or canceled. WIBC.com has the full list there. Also, what was supposed to be tomorrow, our pop-up pickleball social presented by Franciscan Health, that's also been postponed. When exactly that'll happen, still TBD. There have been more than 120 people arrested for committing sex crimes in Johnson County over the last several years. The latest sex sting happened this week.
Well, we started this sex sting on Tuesday and concluded yesterday, Thursday evening.
Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Burgess says 20 people were arrested this time around. He says operations like this are critical to stopping child exploitation. Imagine having to spend over 60 years in prison. That's going to be the case for a man from Fishers, explains Kurt Darling.
Keenan Hunt was sentenced to 46 years for rape and kidnapping. Hunt was caught in December of last year after an altercation that led to a 911 call and his subsequent arrest in Hancock County. Turns out he's facing a lot more than just that. Invasion of privacy, obstruction, violating a no-contact order, and more, all adding up to over 102 felonies and misdemeanors. Guilty of those 2, Hunt is getting 81 years overall, 65 of them behind bars. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's been one heck of a year for Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark.
I feel like there's been so many amazing moments, but it's the moments that none of you see that I enjoy the most. It's not the basketball. It's the people that I get to spend it with, whether it's my family, whether it's my teammates.
The league's Rookie of the Year looking back on her first season in the WNBA that ended this week. In the first round of the playoffs against the Connecticut Sun. It was the first time the Fever had been in the playoffs since 2016. Traffic and weather in 1 minute. It's 3:04.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life, and that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
And with traffic on the 5s at 3:05, what's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison inbound 69, crash on the exit ramp to southbound 465. And right now, those exit lanes to I-465 backed up to 100 at 6th Street, almost a full stop in parts. 19-minute delay if you're trying to peel off to 465. If you're continuing on Benford, you are slow but moving at the moment. Inbound 65 stop and go 21st to Meridian Pad, and eastbound 70 slows from Belmont to the south is split. Traffic sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. They run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And it's actually Tara Hastings joining Hammer and Nigel next. They'll have your forecast courtesy of the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it.
Yeah, my name is Nigel. Jimmy Lopez, you know him as Indy Spanglish on X, filling in for Hammer. Let's get straight to it. Go to the hotline, bring on Wish TV meteorologist Tara Hastings. Tara, I know it's been a busy couple of days for you. Certainly down south, we're thinking the people affected by Hurricane Helene. Before we get to the aftermath here in the Midwest, can you maybe just reset the trajectory of this hurricane? It seems like the entire state of Florida, I'm not just talking about the trajectory of the hurricane, but the entire Gulf Coast was flooded. It just reset what we saw last night and early this morning. Yeah, sure. So we had Helene make landfall near the Big Bend region, kind of near that panhandle, where the panhandle kind of meets the rest of the state. 11:20 last night, Category 4 storm with winds at 140 miles per hour. Now, when we say make landfall, that's where the eye of the storm moved onshore. Yeah. But, of course, we had all that rain and even some thunderstorms, tornadoes as well, moving across Florida. Last time I looked, more than 1 million people without power in Florida. And then the Gulf coastal states continuing to move northward and produce some intense rainfall. Just before I hopped on with you, I got on X. I saw you all tag me in it, and my feed was incredible here. I saw a photo, I-40 East, around Tennessee and North Carolina, washed out, completely gone. Did you see that? I retweeted it. You want to take a look. Wow. Incredible. There's also, I think it was a imminent dam failure, is a flash flood warning across parts of South Carolina or North Carolina, somewhere over there. I mean, just such intensity with this storm that moved through. And the rain shield was huge. This morning at daybreak, I mean, we had the rain from Georgia, the Carolinas, all the way back to St. Louis. I mean, incredible rain shield moving through from this storm.
Hey, Tara, this is Jerry. So I have kids that live in Tampa, so I was just checking up on them earlier today, and I was looking at the weather ahead. It's just rain, 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 rain. I assume all remnants of this storm, but as I pulled up the radar, it showed, the hurricane coming around the inner Gulf Coast, but then it showed it just big red circle on Nashville, right? So what kind of things? I know this happens a lot. When we have hurricanes in Florida, we get rain. So how typical is it for that to spurn off tornadoes or any kind of severe weather for us here inland? Yeah, so it's mainly like the bands, right? It's not necessarily the eye wall, but mainly the bands of the storm just moving onshore, and you get those severe storms that kind of rotate, and you get those individual cells within those bands that just kind of rotate through once it moves farther inland. And I just looked, I'm going to take another sneak peek at the radar here. I thought I saw a tornado warning. Yep, just popped up here around southern Ohio, southeastern Ohio. So, again, you could get these bands moving through and get enough spin in the atmosphere. You just kind of get these tornadoes that kind of pop up, too. So I got one tornado warning, it looks like, across parts of southeastern Ohio. And
I'm looking at that radar. Yeah, I'm looking at that radar. What do you think the possibility is of a tornado warning here in central Indy? And again, it may just depend on, as you call them, these bands that are popping up. Right. So here's the deal. I don't even think we're going to get thunder from here. I think we're just going to get plain old rain. So severe weather, very, very incredibly low. I think the main concern here
obviously we are getting some much needed rain, right? I mean, we had drought conditions all over the state. More than an inch of rain has fallen across parts of Evansville. Last I looked, we got about a half an inch or so here in Indianapolis, so that's good. But the winds, right now, not too bad. I'll give you I'm in my car right now. I'm on my way to go pick up the kids. Of course, it's in park.
Good. That's always good.
I have to dodge a garbage can here. So
careful.
Yes, exactly. We got those garbage cans all over the place. Hopefully it's not trash day in your neighborhood. So I just looked. The winds right now gusting at about 40 miles per hour in Indianapolis. But I'm anticipating those winds to kind of pick up here within the next, I would say between about 4 and 8 will be probably the best chance to see those really intense winds pick up. And that's why we have that high wind warning. We could see winds gusting upwards of 40 to 60 miles per hour.
And this is, and forgive my ignorance here, going back to the people in Florida, and you know, again, I used the word trajectory of that big red cell and how it went into the Panhandle, but the residual effects, like we're going on vacation in a couple of weeks in southern Florida, like Bradenton, Naples, AMI, and I'm seeing like severe flooding in those areas, like kind of by where we got, and again, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying. I mean, I know there are millions of people without power right now. There have been some deaths, so I'm not trying to. I'm marveled at at how powerful the storm was, and how just because you're not like in the cyclone, it doesn't mean you weren't. It looked like this whole state of Florida and then Georgia was affected.
Right. You know what? Absolutely correct. That storm surge, obviously very high with the eye of the storm, but then also farther southward, I have a friend that just moved to the Tampa area just south, and I said, hey, how are you? She evacuated with her pets farther inland, and she says that can't go back to my apartment right now. There's 4 feet of water in it. So checking different options, and then another one of my coworkers, like you, had plans in a couple weeks, head down to Florida, actually in the Bradenton area as well. He's been looking at video, and he's like, oh, man, I think we're going to have to find alternative plans because of the storm surge and the water. And again, you know, when I was looked farther southward in the Tampa, Bradenton area, it looked like the storm surge was going to be a little bit lower than right around the Big Bend region, but even though it was lower, I mean, still incredibly intense. When you're talking about a Category 4 storm, I mean, that thing intensified in 12 hours to go from a Category 1 to a Category 4 storm before making landfall. So incredibly intense. And, I mean, the people in Florida are going to be picking up the pieces for a while. And even farther inland, you know, with all this rain, you know, highways being washed out too.
Tara, so again, before we let you go, I know you're in line to pick up your daughter at school. We're speaking with Wish TV meteorologist Tara Hastings, kind enough to give us an update here. In Indy, central Indy, we're going to be seeing some rain and some high winds for the next couple hours, if not in terms of rainfall the next couple days.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm looking at radar right now. Indianapolis, getting a little bit of a break here. I'm in the Greenwood area. I still have some light rain. We've got some more intense rain a little bit south and east of Indianapolis, but we've got some more rain in Ohio, and that's going to kind of rotate through here. So the winds are going to pick up, I would say, between about 4 and 8. That's when we're going to see the best chance of those 40 to 60 mile per hour winds and some rain, another batch of rain pushing through. Again, not anticipating any kind of lightning or thunder, more just some rain. Overnight, it'll turn more scattered in nature here. And then heading into tomorrow morning, I think the first part of the morning will be okay. And then some more rain pushes in later in the afternoon on Saturday. I think it'll be breezy, but obviously not nearly as windy as what we're going to see today. And then some more spotty showers on Saturday. High temperatures are going to stay into the 70s.
Tara Hastings, you can find her at Met Tara Hastings. and she is on Wish TV and News Gathering Partners. Great work. Thank you very much. I know you were busy with kiddos. Have a great weekend, Tara.
Hey, you guys too. Take care and be safe.
Will do. And Matt Bear, you're so lucky they canceled the pop-up pickleball social presented by Franciscan Health, because I was going to whip your ass tomorrow.
No, you weren't. I was going to whip your ass.
Now, I'm bummed out about that, man. I was really looking forward to that. And you heard Tara say it might be dry part of the day, but the concern is when you're playing pickleball, those things have to be bone dry.
Well, yeah, and I don't want any single moms fracturing a hip. That's what I was really worried about, and that's why I was really going.
Okay, Matt Bear, man of the people.
Yeah, I am. Hey, listen, I'll just stop there. Eastbound 465. Yeah, eastbound 4. See you in a minute. Eastbound 465 crash at the White River on the south side. That's blocking the shoulder, causing stop-and-go traffic back to I-70 and a little bit beyond. Inbound 65 stop and go from 29th to Meridian Penn for a 3-minute wait on that. Also looking at inbound 69, the crash cleared. The traffic did not. We are still stop and go on the exit collector lane to 465 from 116th Street down to 82nd. That is backed up. If you're going through to Benford Boulevard, that's all right here in the moment. You're going to be slow, but mostly unaffected. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Matt, you want to come in here and make some sweet radio magic with me and Jerry Lopez?
I'm so there.
Okay. Also, Jerry, we have a guest coming up a little bit after 3:30. I think you might know him, Dinesh D'Souza.
That's
an American conservative political commentator, filmmaker. He's got a new movie coming out called Vindicating Trump. I wanted to just play Donald Trump's endorsement of this movie. Go ahead.
My good friend, and I must say a very talented man, Dinesh D'Souza, did a movie that is getting tremendous reviews. It's called Vindicating Trump, and it's opening Friday on the 27th, and I think it's something you should go and see. People are going to love it. It is something very different and very spectacular, actually. So I congratulate Dinesh. A lot of our friends are in it. A lot of our great loyal patriots are in it. And enjoy it. Most importantly, enjoy it. And frankly, learn from it. Vindicating Trump. Have fun. Thank you.
And we will talk to the director and the writer of Vindicating Trump, Dinesh D'Souza, a little bit after 3:30. Matt Bear is next at 72. And rain at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC. Hands down, Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. Listen to what Mark from Danville had to say. I finished building my new perfect home out of state and needed out of my old place quickly. Plus, to cover the cost of the new home, I needed a big price. Mark Dietel was the answer. Home sold in 3 days on the market over my asking price.
Mark Dietel is the only real estate agent that we trust and recommend here on the Hammer and Nigel show. And it's because of the guarantee. The guarantee is a game changer. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietel today, 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com.
Cindy Carrasco has spent a career holding the powerful accountable. As Indiana's Inspector General and Director of the State Ethics Commission, Cindy fought waste, fraud, and abuse wherever she found it. Cindy also combated wrongdoing in state government, which meant standing up and doing the right thing even if it wasn't popular. Now, as our state senator, Cindy Carrasco continues to fight on behalf of all Hoosiers by improving the quality of our children's education, providing tax relief for everyone, and working to make our communities safe by getting law enforcement the resources they need to fight crime, violence, and keep fentanyl away from our families. It's why Cindy has been endorsed by the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, State Police Alliance, and the Professional Firefighters of Indiana. Because they know that Cindy has their back, and we know she has ours. Vote for more government transparency, better schools, lower taxes, and safer streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for State Senate.
Paid for by Cindy First Senate.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
I'm Nigel, Indy Spanglish in for Hammer. You know him as Jerry Lopez, Indy Spanglish on X. And also joining us, traffic beast, Matt Bear. Not only is he our traffic guy, he's also the co-host of Supporting Sobriety with Ryan Hedrick from the WIBC Newsroom. He told me something really very flattering the other day. I know he probably won't mind me saying, but he said there were some people in California listening to our show and heard you on our show talking about the podcast, and we're going through some of the things that you had mentioned on your podcast, and picked that up all the way out in California. So I think I got that story right somehow. So
No, that's very
congratulations,
cool.
man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's I mean, we do it here in Indianapolis, but the information we're putting out, it's caregiving recovery information. So it doesn't matter if you're in California, if you're in Britain, Bangladesh, wherever you might be. I mean, this is very useful stuff. Recovery is recovery, and if you have a substance abuse issue to the point of addiction, that's what we're here for.
And you're here for the people that are going through that with their loved ones that are addicted, right? I probably messed that up.
No. You're perfect. We call it the caregiver of the alcoholic and addict. I had lots of them. So did Ryan. It's the people that say, "Man, I just wish this guy would get sober. I love this person so much." They are destroying themselves, and I used to know this human being. I want them to be human again, and that's who we're talking to. Because, all right, for example, coming up a week from tomorrow, we're going to tape an episode on fentanyl. Okay, it's a murderous, it's a killer. It is the worst drug. I don't want to say the worst drug out there, because then out comes another drug. But right now there is a fentanyl crisis in America, and I'm going to fully admit this. I know very little about the drug of fentanyl.
Hey man, all you got to know is it's out there. It's all over the place, and it is cheap.
But
and it is killing people.
And that is the thing. And not only is it cheap, I mean, people are using it to actually cut other drugs with. Think about that. You take this drug that's, and again, pardon my ignorance here, like 50 million times stronger than anything else in the opioid family, and you're using that to put in another drug to make that other drug cheaper. I mean, it's bizarre. It's total addict behavior, which is what I am in recovery. But so I get it. But we're doing an episode on fentanyl, so it's not only are we trying to educate the caregivers, we want to educate ourselves. And to me, this podcast has been so rewarding. Again, supporting sobriety is what it's called. You can find it on Apple, wherever.
And this will lead to my next question and maybe to part of the clip. What happens when you're in this community of sober people and you're like, man, this guy's been my buddy's been sober for 3 years. He's got this. And then all of a sudden, one day you see him with a bottle of vodka. Has that happened before?
Yeah, I haven't seen them necessarily go into that kind of relapse. Relapse is when you exit a period of recovery and you start using again. That's what we call relapse. And when I come into recovery, and I still do this when I meet somebody for the first time, and, in their recovery, just slayers, just know the big book of whatever your 12-step recovery program is, in and out, and you see these people. You look up to them, man. They are mentors. They are the greatest people. And it's always heartbreaking when somebody relapses. But for me, I remember somebody, one particular person, I'm not going to give out too much detail here because it is anonymous, but I remember one female relapsing after several years of being sober. And it's heartbreaking to see that, because you think, even though we are always vulnerable, whether you have 3 years, 3 days, 3 hours of recovery, we're always going to be vulnerable. So to see something like that, you see these people as superhuman because they're always positive and they're taking you out.
But you just
they
use
make
the
you
word
feel normal.
You just use the word human. Though,
Thank you, Nigel. That's exactly what it is. I mean, I put them, and this is my fault, but I'm in such a place because when you enter a room of recovery, for the first time, I felt like somebody got it. I felt like for the first time that I fit in, that I was with people where I could share my stories, and people would be like, not necessarily like, wow, dude, that sucks. You suck. But be like, yeah, I did the same thing, and that helps the healing and recovering so much. So when somebody, and I just say jump off the proverbial wagon that has recovery time, it can happen, but you don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because
is that what this episode is? I think we're out of time for the clip here, but
okay.
Talk about this episode.
We've been doing this, Ryan and I, Ryan Hedrick, again, as you mentioned, our morning anchor on WIBC, also in recovery. We've been doing this kind of step study and how it applies to the caregiver, the 12 steps. And we've been talking about this, and steps 10 and 11 are essentially maintenance steps, as I heard them called it, and they improve your spiritual condition. I had no spirituality whatsoever, but the point of the clip and the point of what we're talking about right now is when you're in recovery, the work is never done. Although that sounds like hard work, man, recovery work is awesome. I enjoyed. I was a horrible student in high school and in college. I got thrown out of every decent school.
Finally, you found something you're good at.
Yeah, I finally found some studying that I'm good at and I enjoy, and I just love studying.
All right, where can we find the latest episode?
You can find us at Apple, any major podcast provider. Again, supporting sobriety. Check us out on Instagram at sobriety_pod. We'd love to have you guys. And as always, Jerry, Allison, Nigel, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Matt Baer, you are the best. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget. Not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps, or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
What is 988? It's a way forward. It's a listening ear. It's whatever help you need, when you need it. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers trained crisis specialists, ready to talk to you 24/7. If you or someone you love is experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis in their life, call or text 988. Want more information? Visit 988indiana.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's not going to stop anytime soon. I'm talking about all this rain, of course. The radar shows no signs of it slowing down. Currently, it's about 70. Temps will be in the mid-60s by tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:31. You can expect rain and wind today as Helene moves through the state. Remnants of it, that is. Forecasters say flooding is possible in some low-lying areas.
But it's been very dry lately. We are in a drought across much of the area. River levels are pretty low at the moment.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says the main concern today, though, remains the wind. Plenty of high school football games aren't going to be able to kick off tonight. A full list of any impacted games can be found at WIBC.com. A Johnson County sex sting that's responsible for arresting over 100 people in the last several years added 22 to the list this week.
Well, we started this sex sting on Tuesday and concluded yesterday, Thursday evening.
Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Burgess says these kinds of operations are critical to stopping child exploitation. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has pled not guilty to federal corruption charges. You may have heard about those yesterday. His attorney Alex Spiro expects those charges to be tossed.
We let the court know that next week we'll be filing a motion to dismiss. We expect these charges to be dismissed.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who has the power to remove Mayor Adams, says she's looking over the case herself. The DOJ has charged 3 Iranian nationals for hacking into Trump campaign emails. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced those charges today.
Iran's malign activities are wide-ranging. The U.S. government is intensely tracking Iran's lethal plotting against current and former U.S. government officials, including former President Trump.
Hackers are accused of stealing Trump campaign info and trying to send it to other campaigns and even some media outlets. Former IndyCar driver Michael Andretti is relinquishing his ownership stake in Andretti Global. Kurt Darling explains the whole thing.
Andretti has led the team since 2002 when he purchased an ownership stake in what was then Team Green. It then became Andretti Green, Andretti Autosport, and after a restructuring last year is now Andretti Global. No reason has been given yet by Andretti for his decision to leave the team. They did just complete a merger with AI company Zapata, but it's not clear if that has anything to do with Andretti's decision. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:34.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
With traffic at 335, here's Matt Baer.
Northwest side crash, northbound 465 after 71st, two center lanes blocked. Traffic backed up to the 71st Street interchange. South side crash, eastbound 465 at the White River, right lane closed. Traffic backed up to 70. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Friday night, with the remnants of the tropical storm moving our way, it'll be rainy and windy early, but calming down with cloudy conditions overnight. Low temperatures drop to the mid-60s as we move into tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
It's a very dangerous time for our country.
The goal is to put him in jail because they're so afraid of his voice.
I am your voice.
A lot about Donald Trump scares them.
Let's look at everything. Campaign, his family. Let's get foreign eyes on him.
Isn't that election interference?
It's not interference if we do it.
They cheat in many different ways. That's all they're good at.
Trump has beaten back every attack against him.
We're going to fix our borders, and we're going to fix our elections.
Vindicating Trump. Tickets available now. Opens nationwide in theaters September 27th.
There you go, the trailer for Vindicating Trump on the Hammer and Nigel show. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is out. Jerry Lopez is in. We have the writer and director of Vindicating Trump, kind enough to take time out of his busy day, opening day of his new movie, Vindicating Trump. Dinesh D'Souza calling the show again. Dinesh, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Very excited about this film and also delighted to be on the show.
Well, Dinesh, all right, just tell us. I mean, I got a pretty good idea watching the trailer. I know my co-host today, filling in for Hammer, Jerry, saw the movie. Tell us a little bit about the movie.
Well, the centerpiece of the film is a very extraordinary one-on-one conversation with Trump. When I met Trump for the first time, and many other people have said this as well, he has a whole side to him in private that he resists exposing in public. He has a kind of manly aversion to talking about like his feelings or his vulnerability, and even the kind of inner workings of his mind. So I was actually quite determined to sit across from him 2 feet apart and pose startling questions to him that would get him to open up. And I'm delighted to say I think it worked. So what the movie does is it doesn't present a sort of a different Trump, but it kind of rounds out the picture of Trump. And, of course, ultimately I'm making a defense of Trump, but I make the defense by telling you a kind of exciting story about how this massive cultural celebrity came on the scene. He provoked the most unbelievable resistance and reaction from some of the same people who used to praise and adore him before. And so we've been living through this remarkable drama that Trump is a part of. And so the Trump story is really what Vindicating Trump is all about.
You know, Dinesh, this is Jerry. First of all, fantastic movie. Once again, you hit it out of the park. Last one was Police State, exact same thing. You're slowly becoming one of the most important filmmakers of our time because these are stories that our mainstream media is just keeping from us because they want to control the narrative. One of the things that I really hung on to was we talk about the physical assassination attempt that happened to Trump, but you went further on to talk about the political, the legal, the character, the democracy assassination, the physical assassination attempt was just the last one. Can you dig into those a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. These different forms of assassination are connected because the character assassination wasn't just, oh, Trump's a bad guy, we don't agree with his policies. It's that Trump is an existential threat to America. He is an enemy of democracy. He would become a tyrant like Hitler in 1933. So, I mean, think about that. Think about what some kook is going to hear that and go, well, wow, the most powerful figures in the Democratic Party are saying this about Trump. Well, I can be a hero if I try to put some shots into him. Think how much I would be acclaimed as a hero historically if I had done that to Hitler in 1933. So the character assassination is the poisonous groundwork for the actual assassination. And then, of course, things like the lawfare. I mean, lawfare is taken from the term warfare. It's an effort to lock Trump up for life, which would constitute a certain kind of death sentence. So we lay all this out in the film, but we also raise the question, what is it about Trump that produces this kind of response? I mean, people call Trump a dictator. Now, he didn't do anything dictatorial when he was in office. How many leading Democrats did he lock up? None. In fact, the police agencies of the government were going after Trump. But even though he didn't do anything dictatorial, why did they call him that? I mean, they didn't call McCain a dictator. They didn't call George W. Bush a dictator, or even Reagan. So I try to get to what is it about Trump that causes people to react in this way.
Dinesh D'Souza is the director of Vindicating Trump, out in theaters now. You at one point, Dinesh, were canceled. You were deplatformed. You were silenced. How confident were you that Vindicating Trump would actually be released in mainstream theaters? I'm looking right now here. I'm just going to name a few of the theaters around Indianapolis that this is playing in: Greenwood, Plainfield, Carmel, Indianapolis, Greenfield, Brownsburg, Lebanon. I mean, just to name a few of the spots here in central Indy where your movie is actually playing in theaters. How confident were you that that was going to actually happen?
Because I think last time we talked to Dinesh, you were worried that Police State wasn't even going to be released.
Yeah.
No, you're quite right. Now, it has nothing to do really with me. It's the name Trump that is radioactive.
Yes.
And with Police State, and even with 2,000 Mules, which was a highly successful film, but nevertheless, in the aftermath of COVID, the theaters were not in a normal state. And so we couldn't release the movie in what they call wide release in the theaters. I would have to buy out theaters and do limited showings. Well, that's not the case here. I'm happy to say I'm back to my old model of releasing the movie in 800 to 1,000 theaters, multiple showings a day. So this is great because I make the movie for the theater. It's a cinematic experience. It's just not the same. You can watch it later, like on your computer. It's just not the same thing. So I would urge people to round up your family and friends. Figure out a time to go this weekend. If you go to vindicatingtrump.com, that's the website, plug in your town or city, boom, all the theaters will come up just like you just did, and you can buy tickets right there.
How difficult was it, or was it difficult pitching this idea to Trump? How long was he like, all right, I'll do it for you, and you know, Dinesh, you're my friend, we've known each other, I'll do it right away, or did it take some convincing for him to open up?
No, I sent him a text, and I basically said, you know, I'm going to do a film. I want to make the case for Trump, but it needs to have you in the movie as the centerpiece. So I need to do like a 45-minute one-on-one with you with no holds barred and the ability to ask you all kinds of questions. And literally, I would say seconds later, I get a text back in all caps. It would be my great honor! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! So now I will say that actually getting to organize the filming was hard. We were supposed to interview Trump a couple of months ago, but I have to say it's very fortunate that fell through. He was dealing with campaign issues, legal issues. Remember, he had a sentencing in New York. Yeah. So it turned out the actual interview was in late July, after the assassination attempt, after the Republican National Convention, and that turned out to be great because I was able to ask him about those things and go into those things in some detail.
Now, Dinesh, I don't want you to give this away, and I'm not going to give it away, but there was a part in the movie where you actually sat down with some investigators and you said, if you were going to steal an election, how would you do it? And they walked you exactly through how to get ballots, how to print ballots, how to put the ballot. And so take us through, when we hear the word audit, because in the movie you describe it perfectly, this is not an audit that we're doing because the ballots are messed up.
Well, the premise of that section in the film, it's called The Ballot Makers, is that the Democrats can't keep cheating exactly the same way. If they try to do what they did with 2,000 Mules and show up with mules in the middle of the night with backpacks, they're going to be patriots who are looking for that, who expect that, who turn on their cell phones and film it as it's happening. So the Democrats know they can't do that. So in 2,000 Mules, we were looking back at what happened like a year and a half previous. But in this film, we're looking forward. And so I brought in a couple of investigators, and I said, listen, you know, you show me where Fort Knox has a door open or where there's a vulnerability in our election system. And they came back to me and they go, we think we know how to make ballots. And I was like, are you insane? This is crazy. I said, but listen, look, don't tell me about it. Show me. You're saying that you can buy ballot paper that's legitimate ballot stock? Go buy it. You're saying that you can then print all the content of a ballot onto that ballot stock? Do it. You're telling me that ballot stock, that ballot is now a legitimate ballot that can be fed into a tabulator and it will be counted? Show me. So this is the beauty of a film, is you're not just talking about stuff, you're showing people that this stuff can actually happen. And in fact, when I mentioned it to Laura Trump, she was the co-chair of the RNC. She was like blown away. But my purpose, of course, is not to teach the Democrats how to cheat. My real purpose is this, and that is by exposing this, by blowing the cover, so to speak, it then makes it much harder, in fact, makes it almost impossible to actually cheat that way.
Dinesh D'Souza, his new film, Vindicating Trump, in theaters now. All you got to do is go to Fandango or go to Google, type it in, and it'll give you dates and times of local theaters. Dinesh, you've been very kind to this show the past couple of months, and best of luck with the movie. Thank you for calling, and have a good weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a Hammer and Nigel show.
It's the start of our favorite season in Indy, football season. That's right. With all the hype and action this season brings, we know things can get loud and messy real quick. Before you invite your friends and family over to watch the big game, you better call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to clean up all those fumble moments in your home. Lucky for you, you can score big this month with great savings. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $119. Take $75 off air duct cleaning too. The Zero Res service is easy to line up. You can go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Don't forget the ZR water difference. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, leaving things really clean. Now mention WIBC, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $119, plus you'll get $75 off air duct cleaning too. 317-388-5141. That's 317-388-5141. Book online at ZeroResIndy.com.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela from the Michaelis Corporation. If you see mold growth in your home or business, you need to get it checked out by a professional. Michaela, why should someone with mold call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local and family-owned business for over 39 years. Our inspections are free and we're IICRC certified. Michaelis will sample the mold and has full remediation services if needed. Many times it is not needed, but we want to ensure it is not a dangerous type of mold.
It's important to know what you're dealing with, and should it be something that is a problem, does Michaelis help with the insurance process for mold remediation?
Absolutely. We handle working with insurance throughout the process to give you peace of mind.
If you suspect mold, call the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Hi, it's T. Brian Hayes here from the Retirement Money Matters Show. Recently, we did our Back to School for Your Retirement show. Back to school is not just for students anymore. You must make sure your retirement education is continued each and every year due to all the many changes that happen each year in the financial arena. Now it's time for your retirement test. Join me this weekend as we test your retirement knowledge by asking you some questions to see just how retirement savvy you are. The Retirement Money Matters Show airs this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WIBC.
Rampant crime, crumbling roads, unaffordable housing, open borders, and high inflation. That's Andre Carson's record after 16 years in Congress. Have you had enough yet? It's time for John Schmitz, an Indy native who's working for safe streets, an end to inflation, and a bright future for Indy. John Schmitz has the experience, creativity, and energy to tackle the issues holding back Indianapolis. Help make Schmitz happen. Vote John Schmitz for Congress. Learn more at johnschmitzforcongress.com. I'm John Schmitz. I approve this message paid for by Schmitz for Indiana.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Heating and air conditioning can be the largest investment you make in your home. Here at Family, we pride ourselves in offering many flexible options.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Matt friggin' Bear, what's going on?
And Nigel, looking at the south side, crash clear, eastbound 465 of the White River. We are still jammed back to I-70. Front of the line clearing out slowly, though, because that is a work zone. Inbound 69, crash clear at 465. Inbound 65, stop and go before MLK2 Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70, grinding after Holt into Meridian, Illinois. Crash northeast side, Shadeland Avenue 71st. Crashes west side, Raceway Road at 30th. That's reported as an injury crash with entrapment. Also on 10th Street, east of Girls School Road. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
72 and rain at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
I'm Nigel. Jerry Lopez is filling in for Hammer. Good get on Dinesh D'Souza with his new film Vindicating Trump dropping in theaters today. Thank you for that. That was all your doing.
Definitely a great movie, too. Highly recommend it to anybody that's interested. Watched it last night. Loved it.
Oh, you got the secret link?
Yeah, I got the little screener copy.
You got the screener?
Yeah.
Look at you.
It's definitely worth it.
What did Dinesh say when he called into the program, Allison?
What did he say, Allison? What did he say?
He said, yeah, hi, I'm calling in for the Jerry Lopez show.
Made my day. Made my day.
Okay.
Cut that clip. Cut that clip. I need that.
It is the Hammer and Nigel show with Jerry Lopez filling in for Hammer. John Mellencamp did it again. You remember probably about 4 months ago, he stopped the show, eventually walked off the stage, ended the show because someone told him to shut up and play music.
And she went, it's just like you, buddy, to be a smart aleck when I'm talking to Jesus. And then it got real quiet.
Somebody's like, quit
Yeah.
Again, this was like 4 months ago.
Hey, Joe, find this guy and let me see him after the show. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted. Guys, I can stop this show right now and just go home. Since you've been so wonderful, I'm going to cut about 10 songs out of the show. Here we go. A little ditty.
And then he just stops. He's like, screw it.
Show's over.
So here, let's fast forward to I know John Mellencamp played Farm Aid this past weekend. I can't find anything online confirming that's what this clip is from, but somebody was talking a little too loud for John Mellencamp during his show.
What a dream. All over saying, hey, you in the red hat, why don't you shut the up? I'm singing as quiet with the PA system, and you're louder than me. If you got something to say, come on up here and say it. If not, shut the up. I'll start the song over before my buddy had something to tell that girl. What the were you telling her anyway? You weren't listening to me, you
So
Wow.
I'm torn between John Mellencamp, because I know he's a super lib and hates Trump and all Trump supporters, but I'm kind of like fascinated by his F you. I'll do the show or I won't do the show.
He's gotten too big for his britches, Nigel.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Hey, listen.
Look, I've been next to a-holes that are too loud at acoustic shows, that are talking, that are singing along, that aren't even paying attention, and it sucks. So in part of me, in this circumstance, I'd be like, yeah, get this guy out of here. Shut up.
Maybe, but now he's got a record of doing this, so it seems like it's more a him thing. Like, why are you not looking at me?
All right, we'll be right back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Need a new work truck? Need a new fleet vehicle? Andy Moore Ford has got you covered. Over 800 new vehicles available on the lot, including the Super Duty trucks available starting only at $43,995. You've got F-150s, transit vans, the custom work vehicles for any industry, all built Ford tough, and Rangers with that all-new body style from only $36,995. And of course, you want the cool, fun stuff. They've got the Broncos, the Bronco Sports. I'm driving a Bronco. I own a Bronco Sport. And interest rates as low as 0% APR available on new Andy Moore Fords. And when you need service, Andy Moore Ford will come to you. Just schedule it online at andymoreford.com. They'll come pick up the vehicle, service it, and bring it back to you as good as new. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Visit them on Main Street. Tell them Tony Cat sent you, or find them online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore Ford. M-O-H-R.
I love Andy.
AndyMooreFord.com.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Pour Downy in the rinse straight.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean.
Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Get ready to celebrate the 90th birthday of the King of Rock and Roll. And you're all invited as Omar presents the Elvis Tribute Artist Spectacular. One night only, Friday, January 24th, at our new venue in Indianapolis, the Murat Theater. Starring Sean Clush, Cody Ray Slaughter, and Ryan Pelton, with special guest Ed Enoch and Elvis's Stamps Quartet. Tickets are on sale now, so come celebrate Elvis's birthday. Visit etaspectacular.com today.
Can you hear me? So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed the musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Contact Zero Res now for 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $119 and take $75 off air duct cleaning. Book online at zeroresindy.com for huge savings.
Overcoming drug addiction is difficult. The road to recovery is different for everyone. Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
Coming up in a couple of minutes, today's rain showing no signs of letting up. John Herrick reports on why nearly 24 people that were arrested in Johnson County over a few days this week, and why now is the time to ask any questions you may have for Indiana's candidates for governor. That's all coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
Helicopter rescues at a Tennessee hospital. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Unicoi County Hospital north of Asheville, Tennessee, one of the many areas dealing with flooding from Hurricane Helene, which has weakened to a tropical depression now after killing at least 30 people in 4 states, including several in South Carolina.
2 firefighters in Saluda County and 2 individuals in Newberry.
Governor Henry McMaster says they expect more. In North Carolina, a tornado hitting Rocky Mount today. Reports of several injuries and structures destroyed. Helene also knocking out power to millions across the southeast after last night's landfall in northwest Florida. 6 months after one Republican congressman requested information, the acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement reveals new information about migrants with criminal records who are not in custody in the U.S.
According to ICE, there are over 425,000 illegal immigrants who have been convicted of crimes who are currently roaming the United States on the non-detained docket. Of that number, more than 13,000 of those illegal immigrants have been convicted of homicide, and over 15,000 of them have been convicted of sexual assault.
Fox's Bill Malugin in Douglas, Arizona, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit the border today.
She should resign in disgrace for what she's done to our country, not run for president. She was the border czar.
Former President Trump in Michigan calling the new numbers even worse than he thought. Harris has said reform is needed and blames Trump for a border security bill stalling in Congress. The Pentagon just confirming the U.S. and Iraq's government have reached an agreement to wrap up the U.S.-led military mission fighting ISIS by next year. But the Biden administration is not calling it a full withdrawal. The Dow up 137 at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You were told it was supposed to rain. If you're tired of all of it, I wouldn't check the radar. There's more on the way. Currently about 70 degrees downtown. Temperatures drop to the mid-60s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. A few inches of rain and strong winds are expected to really be your biggest concerns today, with remnants of Hurricane Helene moving through the Midwest.
We can start to see branches coming off of trees, maybe even a few weaker trees fall down, some shingles and siding off of houses. Minor damage overall.
Matt Eckhoff at the National Weather Service says high wind warnings and advisories are in effect for most of the state. If you need to know about any cancellations or postponements, check out WIBC.com. Plenty of high school football games have already been pushed to later in the weekend. A sting operation to catch child predators in Johnson County. John Herrick reports on the results of said operation.
It went from Tuesday through Thursday this week. Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Burgess says he had help from law enforcement agencies both inside and outside the county.
It takes a lot of time to get to the point that we were at for this 3-day operation in planning.
22 people were arrested in this one. He says each arrest like this is a step forward in ensuring the safety of our children. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Debate Commission wants to know what you would like to ask Indiana's 3 candidates for governor during a debate next month. The commission is taking questions which can be submitted at their website, some of which may wind up being asked to candidates Republican Mike Braun, Democrat Jennifer McCormick, and Libertarian Donald Rainwater. October 24th is when all 3 will get behind a podium. The namesake of Andretti Global is leaving the popular racing team. Kurt Darling reports.
No reason given, but Michael Andretti is relinquishing his stake in the team effective immediately. He's been the man in charge since 2002 when he bought a stake in what was then Team Green. He led the team into the Indy Racing League, several wins in the Indianapolis 500, and was the point of the sword for the team's pursuit of Formula One. Andretti is said to have made some business moves behind the scene that have led to this point. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The average you're paying for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, $3.26. Says GasBuddy.com, it's about 5 cents above the national average. Traffic and weather in about 60 seconds. It's 4:04.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
And with traffic on the 5s at 4:05, how are the roads looking, Matt Bear?
Soggy, Harrison, looking at crashes right now on the west side. This is Raceway Road at 30th, reported as an injury crash with entrapment. Also 110th Street, east of Girls School Road. Crash on the northeast side. This is 71st at Shadeland Avenue. Inbound 65, stop and go before MLK to the north. Split delay continues down to Washington. Eastbound 70, stop and go traffic. Holt Road to Meridian, Illinois. Crash clear south side. Eastbound 465 at the White River. Still stop and go traffic back to I-70. And on the east side, southbound 465 loaded after Penn Pike down to Washington Street. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store and everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Matt. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Friday night, with the remnants of the tropical storm moving our way, it'll be rainy and windy early, but calming down with cloudy conditions overnight. Low temperatures drop to the mid-60s as we move into tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's... Nigel, Jerry Lopez, you know him as Indy Spanglish on X. He is filling in for Hammer. We'll go straight to the hotline and bring on Tommy Pickett, Strategic Comms Director for the RNC. Also runs the highly popular Twitter handle at RNC Research. That would be the White House's least favorite Twitter account. Tommy, how are you this weekend?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
There's any number of places we could start. I guess... You know, it's fun to laugh and joke around about Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee for president, and how bad she is at interviews with Oprah and Stephanie Rule. But it's like it's gotten to the point where it's ridiculous. And people, I think she'd almost rather people laugh at the quality of the interviews than exactly what she's saying in the interviews in terms of policy or maybe lack thereof. What do you think?
Yeah, she has the audacity to say that we need to be serious while she's out there not offering any serious solutions to the crises that she created in the first place. I mean, ask basic questions about what she'd do to lower costs, how she's going to bring back American jobs, how she's going to bring back American manufacturing, how she's going to make sure that wages are rising again, how she's going to help people when it comes to the economy. Absolutely no answers, to the point where even Stephanie Rule, who said a few days ago she was voting for Kamala Harris, went on after the interview and said that Kamala Harris was not answering any of her questions. And then, of course, because she wants to run cover, Boris said, but that's okay. Kamala Harris doesn't need to answer these questions. I mean, it's astonishing. It's absolutely astonishing. She has no solutions to any of this. And again, she's the one that created a lot of these problems, so that's why she has no solution to them. It's her policies that are to blame.
Yes, Stephanie Rule, it was so bizarre. She was asking Kamala those questions on MSNBC during her softball interview. And then she goes on a different show and acts like she's outraged that, well, Kamala didn't answer the questions. Why didn't you say that during the interview to Kamala Harris's face? It's like, it's journalism 101. Hell, I'm not a journalist. I'm a radio guy. I'm an entertainer, and even I know that much.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that wants to know the answers to the questions facing our country would know that. I mean, it's not even a journalistic – I mean, it is a journalistic responsibility, but it's not even something that just a journalist knows.
Yeah.
It's something that everyone wants answers to. There was reaction to that interview from even the New York Times talking about how Kamala did not answer these questions, about how a hard-hitting interview for Kamala has yet to be held, how we need answers to these questions. And when you've lost the liberal New York Times, you know it's bad. I mean, there's no running for cover here when it comes to Kamala Harris because she's not actually answered any of these questions. And for her to go down to the border today, an 11th hour border visit, after being border czar for years, letting this border invasion happen, being complicit in fueling it, it's really just an insult. She's trying to run away from her record as fast as possible. But we have all the receipts. I mean, we have the receipts on the economy, the border, foreign policy. And on all of these areas, we see the world on the brink of World War III. We have the worst border invasion in the history of the United States. And then we have in the economy real wages down and costs up over 20%. And it's all because of Kamala Harris. So that's why she can't answer these questions. She cannot answer these questions because we know her policies do not work. And yet she's running on them anyway.
And with 39 days to go before the election, it's amazing that people still don't know any of her policy. Like, most of the policy that she has comes from something Trump has come up with.
Well, she did copy and paste, I believe, from Joe Biden's policy page.
It's pretty shameful.
Yeah, I mean, like, the fact that she is trying to do this new way forward, that's her slogan, and then she literally copies and pastes from Biden's website onto her own shows how dishonest that is. And on top of that, at the DNC, if you look at their platform, they mentioned Biden's second term something like 16 times within the platform itself. I mean, there is no new way forward that Kamala Harris is offering here. She's offering Bidenomics, Biden's failed agenda, doubling down on it because it's also her failed agenda since she's been vice president. On top of that, she's offering even farther left solutions, if that's not the word for it, but farther left policies that will just make these issues even worse when it comes to price controls, when it comes to opening the border. So I think the American people are learning their policies. They're seeing her failed record, and they're seeing through this really dishonest slogan that she offers a new way forward while she's copying and pasting Biden's policies onto her website.
Oh, and speaking of seeing through, one of the things, and then we can move on from that interview here, but the Stephanie Ruhle MSNBC interview, is there no bigger hoax than when the Democrats, and Kamala Harris specifically, blame Trump for the border crisis by talking about the this bill that was killed because Donald Trump told his buddies not to vote for it in Congress? Is there any bigger lie, any hoax out there right now than that? Just that ridiculous. First of all, Trump wasn't in power. There's already H.R. 2 that's Chuck Schumer's sitting on, but Kamala and the Democrats and Biden saying that this is Trump's border crisis is outrageous.
It really is. I mean, we have a border invasion that's been going on for 3.5 years because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden reversed the border policies that Trump had in place, have refused to finish the border wall, have refused to keep our main in Mexico in place, have released hundreds of thousands of people into the country. New ICE data today shows that in the country, freely roaming our streets, are over 425,000 convicted criminals. 425,000, including over 13,000 that were convicted of homicide. Freely roaming our streets right now because of Kamala Harris. And then for her to go out there and say President Trump is to blame, he's the one that wants to institute the largest deportation operation of criminal illegal aliens in American history, while Kamala Harris is out there every single time he says that, saying that's a bad policy. So she's the one that doesn't want to deport the 425,000 convicted criminals that are right now freely roaming our streets. She's the one that doesn't want to institute these solutions that are on the table that we know worked because they worked in the past. So it's incredibly dishonest for her to blame President Trump. She has no other option, though, because, again, her policies have failed. And I think the American people are seeing through her dishonesty.
Okay, so what's next for Donald Trump? We're speaking with Tommy Pickett here, Strategic Comms Director for RNC. He's in I think he's in Michigan today, Wisconsin tomorrow. Tell us about the next few weeks of the campaign, man. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty, and especially in terms of early voting. Doesn't look like the Democrats are where they were in 2020 with early voting requests. Maybe just kind of big picture, what's going on with the Republicans and Donald Trump in the campaign right now?
Yeah, well, right now it's pedal to the metal, taking nothing for granted. I mean, the president is out there campaigning across the country. Our future vice president, J.D. Vance, is out there campaigning across the country. At the RNC and Trump campaign, we are building that ground game. I kind of think of it in two different ways. First, the Protect the Vote initiative. Our chair and co-chair went out and set out to recruit 100,000 volunteers as part of the effort to protect the vote. we've recruited over 150,000 volunteers, and that continues. And then the second part of that is the turn out the vote effort. So you have protect the vote and then turn out the vote, where people are signing up at TrumpForce47.com, getting involved to make sure that they're in their communities, this grassroots-powered movement to elect President Trump. Ultimately, the most important thing that people can do right now is make their plan to vote. Go to swampthevoteusa.com, make your plan to vote. You have all the information you need there. Make sure you're registered. Make sure your friends and family have their plan to vote as well. And then vote when you can. Vote early if you can, because what that allows the RNC and Trump campaign to do is then use resources instead of chasing your ballot to go after ballots that haven't been cast yet, to go after people that haven't voted yet, to go after independents or disaffected Democrats or Republicans that haven't voted in a few election cycles. It frees up those resources. So we're in crunch time right now. We need everyone to make that plan to vote. Make sure they vote. Make sure they vote early if they can, and then get involved. Make sure your friends and family have their plan too.
Tommy Pickett, Strategic Comms Director, RNC. Find his work at the popular handle at RNC Research. Tommy, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
Matt Bear, what's going on with traffic?
All right, Nigel, we have rain. It is soggy. Please turn your headlights on. Eastbound 70, stop and go Holt Road to the south, split 8 minutes. And then inbound 65, stop and go MLK to the north, split, crashing on the west side. 10th east of Girls School Road, also Raceway Road at 30th. That could be serious. Sounds like we have entrapment. Northeast side crash, Shadeland Avenue at 71st. Southwest side, southbound 465, stop and go from 70 down to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Mecum Auctions. Mecum Auctions returns to the Indiana State Fairgrounds October 3rd through the 5th with 1,000 muscle cars, classics, Corvettes, trucks, and more. Register to bid and buy spectator tickets at Mecum.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
72 and rain at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Is this anything? And next on the Hammer and Nigel Show. Hammer and Nigel here. Hello. The September Diamonds Direct Ultimate Offer is back because, interest rates are skyrocketing everywhere else except Diamonds Direct. Here they are coming to the rescue. This is big. Diamonds Direct helping you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. Enjoy 5 years, 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase.
And now through October 1st at Diamonds Direct, get their incredible value price and spread your payments over 5 years. Spread it over 5 years with an unheard of interest rate of 0.0%. Yeah, that's right. The Blutarski from Animal House percent, 0.0. Nothing's held back. Rings, pendants, bracelets, earrings, you name it, it's there. But you need to act quickly. This offer ends September 30th. DiamondsDirect.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Cindy Carrasco has spent a career holding the powerful accountable. As Indiana's Inspector General and Director of the State Ethics Commission, Cindy fought waste, fraud, and abuse wherever she found it. Cindy also combated wrongdoing in state government, which meant standing up and doing the right thing even if it wasn't popular. Now, as our state senator, Cindy Carrasco continues to fight on behalf of all Hoosiers by improving the quality of our children's education, providing tax relief for everyone, and working to make our communities safe by getting law enforcement the resources they need to fight crime, violence, and keep fentanyl away from our families. It's why Cindy has been endorsed by the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, State Police Alliance, and the Professional Firefighters of Indiana. Because they know that Cindy has their back, and we know she has ours. Vote for more government transparency, better schools, lower taxes, and safer streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for State Senate.
Paid for by Cindy for Senate.
Do you ever worry if you'll run out of money in retirement? If so, you're not alone. 70% of Americans fear running out of money in retirement, more than they fear death itself. And now that Social Security is projected to run out of money in less than 10 years, going broke in retirement could be a very real threat. Learn the latest strategies that could help you avoid running out of money in retirement with a free analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We know and trust Bill Demery, and you can too. So if you have saved more than $200,000, schedule that free analysis right now by calling 317-648-5120. The last thing you want is to be 80 years old, full of life, and flat broke. So call Bill Demery today, 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Pour Downy in the rinse change. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Make your game day experience the best it can be. The Colts VIP Tailgate, presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration, exclusively from BullseyeEventGroup.com. The party is on for every Colts home game with an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink VIP experience and DJ Skids providing the entertainment. Live large and pregame like a pro. If you need tickets to the game, Bullseye Event Group can help you in that department too. Make sure you're part of the party before the next Colts home game. Go to BullseyeEventGroup.com. That's BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Plumbing problems stink. The LD Smith Group can handle anything. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Jerry Lopez in for Hammer. A takeout place in New York is going viral for their fried chicken sandwich that's so gourmet, so unique. It comes with the chicken's foot still attached. Here is Chris of Bird Box talking about the sandwich.
We serve the sandwich as a testament to the quality of the chicken that we serve. And that goes for the wings and the breast sando, but this is our see it and believe it proof. So the foot is our way to show that what you're getting is a natural and freely raised chicken that we are proud to serve. It's a special cut that we have, which is then painstakingly prepared over days and nights to get the juicy and tender flavor that we're known for here.
All right, Jerry, I'm looking at the picture of the...
it's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
The chicken breast with the claw sticking out of it. Mm-hmm. If I had to describe what I'm looking at, I mean, picture like a bone-in ribeye, except instead of the bone, it's a foot. It's a claw.
Yeah.
Clawed the claw. The actual chicken breast doesn't look that bad, but the foot sticking out of it is throwing me off a little bit. What about you?
Yeah. No, it's a little weird, but from what I hear, the Haitians do the same thing with cats in Springfield. So they leave the paw right there on the sandwich. And
they're eating the cats. They're eating your pets right off the lawn.
So gourmet still has fur on it. That's a pretty nasty picture. I'll retweet it just so you can see it.
Do that.
It's disgusting.
Tag Hammer and Nigel on that.
Will do. It's gross.
I'm going to say the foot, yeah, that throws me off. The actual chicken breast looks decent, but they don't need, again, like a bone-in ribeye is probably what this kind of reminds me of.
You're being way too calm about this. This is sick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! I saw another one that's not quite as pretty, not quite as fancy.
It literally looks like it could get up off your plate and walk away.
Okay.
Away.
I'm looking at the one. Sick. I'm looking at the picture on the top of the Fox News link, and then when you scroll down,
it gets worse. Yeah.
You scroll. Oh wow,
that is too fresh.
That is
leave the feathers
bad.
on it.
Are you tweeting out the one?
I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I'm doing the whole. I put the whole the whole page. So just scroll on there. I tagged you. So it's on there now. It's on Twitter. It's pretty disgusting.
Okay. No, thank you.
So here, if you're on a date with a girl and she orders that, would you look at her? Would you look at her differently? Yeah, right.
I'm making her pay, and then I'm making her take me home.
That's gross. Yeah.
Okay. There's this thing called Do Not Pay. It's a company that allows you to use an AI lawyer to, quote, sue anybody and provide legal services at the click of a button. They have to pay $193,000, according to the FTC. This fine, apparently, because they made an untested claim that they are equal to the level of a superhuman lawyer. And now here is the founder explaining what kind of legal help the company can provide.
So the software actually talks to you and says what was wrong with your ticket, and then in your own words you can answer, and then it matches you to a legal defense. It then takes down details and uses all of that information to generate an appeal letter, which it will then automatically submit for you by doing all the clicking. And I think it's really important because the average person.
So anyway, AI lawyer.
Yeah, I'm good with
it. They're forced to pay $193,000 because they're making a claim that's untested that they are equal to the level of a human lawyer. You're okay?
I think
You're okay with it?
I think it's a frivolous lawsuit because human lawyers are. What do you call a lawyer who got all D's in class? A lawyer, right? So like the D lawyer and the A lawyer are the same. They're just attorneys. I think it's a great service.
Okay, but to claim that they are equal to the level of a human lawyer.
There are some bad human lawyers, Nigel. They're probably better than some. You know what? They were raised in a middle-class family. Let it go. Just let it go.
That's always the pivot, isn't
That's
it?
the out.
No matter what, I was raised in a middle-class family, just like Kamala. All right, someone on the internet figured out how, like, if you slow down, listen to this. This is pretty funny. Do you know that song "Take Me to Church" by Hozier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, am I saying it right, Allison? Hozier?
I think so, actually.
Is it Hozier?
I think it's Hozier.
H-O-Z-I-E-R, Hozier. I've heard the song 1,000 times. Take me to church. Anyway, someone on the internet figured out that if you slow down Dolly Parton songs, it sounds like Hozier. Here's a clip of Jolene, slowed down, followed by Take Me to Church. You check it out.
Jolene, 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 Jolene.
This is actually Dolly Parton slowed down.
Take me to church, I worship like a dog at the shrine of your light. I'll tell you my sins.
What do we think? Similar slowed down Dolly Parton? Modern day Hozier?
I mean, yeah, but so I saw something that said that most songs today only have about 4 or 5 different sounds that go into them. So many of these songs sound exactly the same.
Oh, the same 3 or 4 chords.
That's
You've
it.
seen those videos on the internet where they say,
Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, everybody's playing these 4 chords.
I'm going to teach you how to play 100 songs with the same 3 chords in the course of the next 20 minutes.
Yep, that's what this is.
That's kind of what it is. All right, finally, this is my favorite.
This is phenomenal.
A dentist office in Colorado pranked their new coworker by starting their daily meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, they do that in elementary school, from what I'm told still. I think my kids do it. But to start your day off at the dentist's office with the Pledge of Allegiance might be a little strange. She was about to have breakfast when they all got up, saw the flag on the video screen. So she, the newbie, got up. And here is the end of the pledge and her reaction.
This is very good. So, today we're going to start with the segue and then you're going to
All right, we usually don't do that.
Okay, I do think that's funny.
That's hilarious.
But, you know, the Pledge of Allegiance, that's an easy target.
Yeah.
You want to show me some real pranks? Maybe lay a rug down and start, doing their daily prayers to where? To the Quran.
There you go. What would have happened if she would have just went off about how this country I don't play?
That too.
She goes the complete opposite way. I will not stand for this fascist. Melissa, we'll meet you in the office.
It's just a prank. Coming up next, very interesting guest. His name's Frank Robertson. He's a protection and counterintelligence expert. He has a very unique and interesting perspective on what happened with Donald Trump, the problems the Secret Service have been having. I know you worked in counterintelligence for a long time.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
So this is going to be a good one. Everything you wanted to know about what happened with Donald Trump, the past 2 attempts on his life, and what could be done better, that's coming up next. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. Okay, so last year, Galaxy Concrete Coatings came in and completely changed the look and feel of my garage. Before, my old garage was cracked and dirty and uneven and faded. It's now 4 times as strong with this new coating they put over it. And it's not slippery either. It's not epoxy. It's better. They use polyurea for their coatings, the new premium standard for coatings. And now Galaxy's coming back. Take a look at my basement and see what they could do with that furnace room. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They do your garage, basement, pool deck, or any indoor or outdoor area concrete. Get their website, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or give them a call, 751-9070.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. Create your dream engagement ring and browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts. From diamond studs, tennis bracelets, birthstone necklaces, and more. With our everyday competitive prices, an unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company knows how to work with your budget, not against it. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You'll get some more tomorrow. 70 degrees, rainy in downtown Indianapolis. Low temps drop to the mid-60s tonight. The rain likely not going anywhere either. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. Remnants from Hurricane Helene are the cause for all of this rain. You can expect more showers Saturday.
Just rain showers on and off, lingering through Sunday, maybe even into Monday. The heavy amounts are going to be over as well. The bulk of it's going to fall today, 1 to 3 inches.
Matt Eckhoff, the National Weather Service. Wind gusts could reach up to 50 miles an hour while these storms move through. Nearly 24 people were arrested in Johnson County this week.
And ended up arresting 22 individuals on various charges of child solicitation, possession of narcotics, or solicitation of different sorts of like a prostitution and pornographic material.
Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Burgess talking about a sexting operation his department pulled off this week. They've been doing this kind of thing for a few years now. It's led to over 120 people put in handcuffs. New York's mayor has pleaded not guilty in federal court to corruption charges. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reports.
New York Mayor Eric Adams pleaded not guilty in a federal courtroom in Manhattan to bribery, wire fraud, conspiracy, and soliciting campaign contributions from foreign nationals. Outside court, Adams stood next to his attorney, Alex Spiro, who said next week they will ask for these charges to be dismissed.
The entire body of evidence is one staffer that says there was a conversation. What you have not learned is that that staffer has lied.
Adams is accused of accepting flights and hotel stays from foreign nationals as well as campaign contributions. Federal prosecutors say Turkish officials pressured Adams to get the fire department to certify their new consular building despite concerns over issues with that building. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
It's been one heck of a year for Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark.
I feel like there's been so many amazing moments, but it's the moments that like none of you see that I enjoy the most. It's not the basketball. It's the people that I get to spend it with, whether it's my family, whether it's my teammates.
Clark reflected on her first season in the WNBA today. That season ended this week in the first round of the playoffs, a place the team hadn't been since 2016. And at the closing bell, the Dow finished up to close the week at 137 points up. That's closing at 42,313. The Nasdaq was down by 70, finishing at 18,119, and the S&P 500 down by 7 to 5,738. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:33.
Mark Dietl, as always, the only real estate expert I trust with the sale of my home, and I'd also trust him to find me a brand new home as well. Here's what Mark from Danville had to say. I finished building my new perfect home out of state and needed out of my old place quickly. Plus, to cover the cost of the new home, I needed a big price. Mark Dietl's team was the answer. My home sold in 3 days on the market over my asking price.
Mark Dietl is the best, and what separates him from the competition is the guarantee. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is the Mark Dietl guarantee. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietl today, 755-4232. That's 317-755-4232, or go to markdietl.com. Mark D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
With traffic at 434, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, looking at the west side, eastbound 70, stop and go traffic, Holt Road into the south, the split, and then inbound 65, stop and go MLK to the north split. That's running about 9 minutes on the delay right now. Northbound 465 on the east side, slow, Penn Pike up to I-69. Eastbound 465, northeast side, stop and go traffic, Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road. Crash on the northeast side, Shadeland Avenue at 71st. Traffic lights not working, causing big-time problems for northbound 31. We have lights out at Stop 18 Road. I'm told people are there working on it, but in the meantime, backed up well past Worsville Road in that northbound side of US 31. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Friday night, with the remnants of the tropical storm moving our way, it'll be rainy and windy early, but calming down with cloudy conditions overnight. Low temperatures drop to the mid-60s as we move into tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Jerry Lopez filling in for Hammer today. Donald Trump hot on the campaign trail. He's got a rally in Wisconsin this weekend. The rally had to move locations due to Secret Service staffing concerns. Secret Service admittingly complacent before the Trump rally shooting there a couple of months ago in Butler, Pennsylvania. The Secret Service under so much scrutiny right now. They can't afford to drop the ball again, Jerry. We'll go to Frank Robertson, who is a protection and counterintelligence expert. Frank, maybe just a little bit about you, your background, what it is you do, and then we could drill into some of the things we've seen out of the Secret Service and Trump's protection in the past few weeks.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Sure.
23 years executive protection. Advanced work is where... and team leader is where my expertise lays. I spent most of my time as an advanced guy. So this particular issue is important because this is where you learn to do better, whether I'm protecting someone with a threat here or reviewing what happened with the Secret Service issues and help share it with the viewers and the listeners.
And Frank, what does it mean to be an advanced guy?
So, for folks that haven't been around an event with an elected official that has protection, I'm the guy that goes out a week to 2 weeks, depending on the size of the event, ahead of time to lay things out, put the plans together. An example, I had a gentleman who had a direct threat against him for 9.5 years. So when we went to San Diego to visit his daughter, I was always down there a week in advance. I would check the hotel rooms. I had a dog with me that would sweep the room. I would go visit all the routes to our scheduled events. Anything that was unscheduled that would come up would be done inside the hotel that we're at, because the hotel has already been advanced and secured. Hospitals, fire departments, and police stations are always checked to see which one is the closest. And one thing I found in my career, the fire department isn't always the closest one, isn't the one that responds first. And the agent that was in charge before I arrived had a different fire department. So the timing would have been off on how fast the response would have been if something had happened in the previous under the previous advanced team. But we go through everything. Our job is to put a plan together and then present that to the team and the driver and the team leader, the weapons specialist, the EMS guy, whoever we have on our team. And that's the plan. You're planning to keep your principal safe, but you're also planning to keep your team out of danger as well.
Sure. Frank, this is Jerry. So just a little quick background. I was a 97 Bravo, so counterterrorism, counterintelligence analyst in the service, couple deployments overseas as a contractor. So this is right up my alley. I love this stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
But when we look at counterinsurgency or anything like that, the assassination attempts against Trump were very crude. Like, it didn't seem like these were, we hear about these assassination teams. It was just some buffoon walked up with a gun. Or like at the golf course, how did this guy have an advance notice at this hole at this time? Some of these things don't make sense. It's when we think of assassinations, we're expecting Jason Bourne, and we're getting some knucklehead who how did he even get a chance to do this?
Yeah, we got amateurs that exposed, for years, and you can talk to this too. For years, we thought there was this bubble around these guys, the president, former president, and it was impenetrable. You couldn't get anywhere near it. And we have two amateurs that popped that bubble, and the American people are seeing how you can. And our adversaries, our foreign adversaries, imagine if either one of those had been a trained sniper. There would have been a backup probably somewhere. There would have been lost Secret Service agents. And then the director says, we've given him the level of the current president, current vice president. Well, if that's true, how in the world did they not protect the golf course? They've been there before. There have been agents stationed at the points where there are vulnerabilities. They didn't even go out and ask law enforcement to put 4 or 5 cars along the road. They don't have to shut the road down. Just put them along the sides of the roads where they would have stationed agents. And the sheriff's department would have been happy to pony up some guys.
Frank Robertson is a protection and counterintelligence expert. Take us back to Butler, Pennsylvania. I know the president, former President Trump, has plans to go back there. Hopefully the advance team in this case takes care of that sloped roof that we heard so much about. Maybe take us back to that day on your overall assessment of what you saw and the failures that happened there. I know the Senate just released a scathing report on the incident there.
Well, any advance starts with a pre-advance in an office where you sit there and you look at aerials, you look at routes, you look at where things are on the map. And depending on if it's in the United States, about a week, week and a half, overseas, 2-3 weeks, you're doing this advance. So when you get there, you actually have a feel for the locations, and then you adjust for them. And the perimeter there was just ridiculously small. I mean, I don't understand how that happens. And then even if somebody had slipped through that part of it, if they had a counter surveillance team on the ground, they have guys walking through the crowds, walking around the buildings, walking around all that stuff that would see somebody, and that's their job, is to look for those people that are acting differently. And I don't care how well someone is trained, if you're walking through a crowd and you're up to no good, it's written all over your face. And the counter surveillance teams inside inside the crowd and around that field would have been able to spot this guy too.
Doesn't the counter surveillance team, though, they're all responsible for like an area view, right? An area that I can see, and a lot of those, almost all those areas should have overlap. So not only am I seeing mine, but I'm seeing a portion of yours, and the portion of yours that I'm not able to see, Nigel can see, but you can see some of Nigel's.
Correct.
So the fact that this guy was even able to be up on what they're calling a sloped roof, and we've seen all the videos in the world, it's not that sloped, but let alone with windows behind it, where you assume that somebody's in those rooms can see those windows. It seems like it's a complete failure. I mean, somebody should have been up on the water tower. It just really, really takes away the security that I get when I hear the name Secret Service.
You're right, and you communicate with the other other areas and other sectors that your surveillance team is positioned, so you know what's going on. And my wife knows not a lot about security just from being with me for forever. But the first thing she said, why wouldn't somebody be on the water tower? Because they could see the top of the roof.
Yep.
I mean, somebody who's watching the telecast could see that. I don't understand. The communication was a huge breakdown. The perimeter, the counter surveillance teams. You know, the snipers, they only look out from where the principal is, right behind the principal, outwards. They don't look in. That was supposed to be someone on top of that roof doing that. And if you believe the report with the whistleblowers, they got off the roof because it was too hot. I mean, I don't get that, but complacency gets people killed.
Yep. What kind of recommendations? What kind of recommendations? Let's say you're in charge now, and we've had these 2 events. Is there anything that you would recommend, just off the top of your head? If we just change these 1 or 2 things right now, we'd see a big difference. Because I'm sure, it'd be easy to protect me, Frank, but I'm not going outside to rallies every single 3 days. That's got to be super hard to protect somebody like that.
Well, you got to break it down into parts. I'll give you an example. Churchill Downs has 150,000 people there. And I was with a family, sole practitioner, taking the billionaire lady there 3 years in a row. And it's a massive facility, but I broke it down to the 3 areas that she was going to go. And when I did that, it eliminated 90% of the facility.
Gotcha.
So if you start with an advance where you pick the perimeter, but you still, an advanced plan is a living, breathing document. You go in there and you go stand on stage next in the facility, in the area that you're going to be, and then you double check what you have on your pre-advance and you make adjustments for it. No line of sight to the top of that roof. Okay, let's reposition somebody over 20 feet so he has direct line of sight to that. Why is there nobody up on the water tower? And we don't even know if the other agents on the advance team mentioned that to the lead advance or the team leader on the ground, and it got overruled. But I can't imagine, with the number of guys that are on the advance team at that level, somebody didn't mention the water tower and somebody didn't want to go back and double check. And the fact is, nobody in the command center to relay any LEOs on the ground to Secret Service that information, that's mind-boggling.
Frank Robertson is protection and counterintelligence expert. We've been going through some of the troubles the Secret Service has been having lately. What would you say in your job, besides protecting the life of your client, but overall, the most important aspect of the job itself is what?
Is preparing for every eventuality.
Okay.
Because if the bad guy can think of it, or if I can think of it, the bad guy's already thought of it.
Yeah.
So I walk into a restaurant and with a client, I have to know. I have to have an imagination. And remember that first press conference that the acting director did, he said it was a failure of imagination. Anyone that's ever done any advance knows exactly what that means. If you can't imagine somebody poking a rifle through a fence along the side of the golf course when your protectee is going to be sitting on the 6th green hitting some putts or chips, you don't have an imagination. And you have to be prepared for those kinds of things, because the bad guys are already thinking about those things. They do as much advance work, if not more, than we do, and they only have to get it right once. We have to be there every single day and get it right and not miss something. You know, it's critical to get that done.
Well, that's one of the things, I think, as much as we harp on or as much as I am right now harping on the Secret Service, it's much like the CIA, right? Like, their failures are known, the successes aren't, right? So we don't know how many times these people have actually saved him. We just know these 2 times that something happened and it came to our attention.
I think it's important, too, to note that when we sit back and go back and forth on these things, kind of Monday morning quarterbacking it, and talk about things to do, it's not to place blame. It's got to be to be better. You know, they changed the way they do motorcades and open air cars when JFK was shot.
Hey, Frank Robertson, as the protection and counterintelligence expert, I hope we aren't talking about this kind of thing anytime soon. It's kind of got me worried. I pray nothing else happens during the last few weeks of this campaign and anything afterwards. So, Frank, I hope we can talk again soon. Thank you so much. It's been fascinating.
Thanks, you guys, for having me. Appreciate you guys.
It's a Hammer and Nigel show. One of the many reasons why I went with Window Nation when deciding who's going to put new windows in my home is that they use the toughest top-of-the-line materials, which help against all weather conditions. I've had them installed for a few years now. Zero problems whatsoever. My energy bills have gone down. Over 20,000 online positive reviews on the internet for Window Nation. That's a huge number of people satisfied with Window Nation.
Seriously, if you want to make your house look better and have that heating and air bill get a little lower, you've got to get good windows. So why wouldn't you call and get a free estimate from Window Nation? 866-90-NATION. Right now, if you buy 2 windows, you get 2 for free. And there's no limit. Plus, 0 down, 0 interest, nothing for 24 months. So again, just schedule an estimate. What could it hurt? 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com and tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Whether it's the good food or the friendly mood, you can count on Indiana to never lose when it comes to tailgating. And we want to see you at every game. That's why Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. So kick off the season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified. Luxury. Even the hard-to-find ones. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Keep the tradition alive, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Denny Smith for Sundown Gardens. The nursery's filled with great fall selections, so shop now and save 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs at Sundown Gardens. Fall is just a great time to plant, and it'll establish roots for next year's growth. The friendly staff can help you make all the right selections. Visit the Garden Center for all these great things for fall. Mums, pumpkins, fall decor, and more still on full display. 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs and 50% off pottery at Sundown Gardens. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
My husband Bob has Parkinson's and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. To learn more, eligible members call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Celebrate a fun 50s weekend in Grant County, Indiana, September 26th through 29th. Cruise over to the Ducktail Run in Gas City and the James Dean Run in Fairmount, 2 of the Midwest's coolest classic car shows. Honor the era of hot cars and cool cats and celebrate where cool was born. Get details at showmegrantcounty.com. Grant County, Indiana, classic cool.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are these uncertain times making you nervous? Give Family Heating and Air a call at 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Man, such a bummer with all the weather this weekend. The pop-up pickleball social presented by Franciscan Health has been canceled. I think they're looking for a day in October with the Greenwood Parks Department. I mean, I guess the biggest issue is safety. Even if it doesn't rain, tomorrow, even though I think it's likely to rain after noon. They're just not able to get the courts dry enough. So I was looking forward to mopping the court with Matt Bear's buttocks.
Yeah, I was
tomorrow.
I was going to win the whole thing. And I've never even played pickleball. And,
okay.
I can barely move from one side to it. I don't want a single mom to hurt themselves on these wet courts.
We'll get it rescheduled. We'll give it another try. What's up with traffic?
Looking at southbound 6570, that's a crash after Washington Street, blocking a right lane, causing stop-and-go traffic through the north split onto westbound 70 back to Sherman Drive. We are dragging big time on 70 because of this crash. And the same with inbound 65. That's stop-and-go MLK to the north at split. On the east side, southbound 465, stop-and-go traffic before 70 down to 74. On the northwest side, northbound 465, stop-and-go 86th Street up to 865. Crash northeast side, Shadeland Avenue at 71st. And Johnson County, US 31 is stop 18 road. Traffic lights not working. Northbound lanes at 31 really bad. Traffic is sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Matt Barrett, the king of pickleball. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
Jerry Lopez is filling in for Hammer. How fascinating was that interview with the counterintelligence protection expert guy, Frank Robertson?
Absolutely loved it. I love those conversations. It's been so long since I've just, that's what I used to do, Nige. Like, legit.
Yeah. So did you actually physically protect high-value dollar assets like he does, though?
No, because
daughters of billionaires, stuff like that. No, I bet it was a different kind of work for you, though.
I was more in the crowd because I blended in a little bit better than most.
In the Middle East, you say?
Yeah, blended in a little bit. Who knew Cubans look just like Iraqis? That's a fact.
You were in the service, of course.
I was the Cuban that looked,
in the Army, right? Correct?
Yep.
All right. Thank you for your service. I really appreciate it, buddy. We got a couple more hours to go. We're going to get on with the National Weather Service. Also, WIBC News Director John Herrick with a lot of closings. That's coming up next on the Hammer and Nigel Show. When it comes to HVAC, I only exclusively use American Standard equipment, and I only exclusively use American Standard dealers to come service that equipment. And one of those awesome local American Standard dealers in central Indiana is...
How about Family Heating and Air, the Morris family and their staff ready to help you out this fall and into the winter? You could call Rachel, Marcus, or Malia today to make sure that furnace is safe and ready to go for when that cold weather starts to move in. Family Heating and Air always encourages you to call them for a free second opinion if you've already got a quote from somebody else. If something seems a little off about your quote, call Family, because nobody takes care of you like Family. 317-577-8077. Family Heating and Air, 577-8077. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Students who can read by the end of third grade are 35% more likely to graduate. I'm Dr. Katie Jenner, Indiana Secretary of Education, here to tell you how reading 30 minutes per day can improve the trajectory of a child's life. Whether you are reading with your child or they are reading independently, this is one of the most important things you can do to help them succeed. So this school year, please encourage your child to continue reading. It's a small habit that makes a big difference.
Sponsored by the Indiana Department of Education and aired by this station.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how much rain you'll likely get once these storms have wrapped up. 22 people arrested this week in a Johnson County sex sting operation. And the Indiana Fever's top draft pick on the year reflects on her first season as a professional. That's coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You are listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
A precarious moment for the Middle East and the world. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from Secretary of State Antony Blinken speaking at the UN a short time ago.
The choices that all parties make in the coming days will determine which path this region is on.
Urging diplomacy over more conflict and saying the U.S. is still gathering information after an Israeli airstrike on Hezbollah's central command in a Beirut suburb believed to have been targeting the group's leader in a headquarters underneath residential buildings. Lebanese officials reporting more than 70 people killed. The president of Iran calling it a war crime in one state media report.
Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, and this reporting is attributable to the New York Times. He has called a meeting of his top leadership there to a compound at his home to discuss the developments in the Middle East, understanding that these strikes toward the Lebanese capital of Beirut that were at least targeting the leader of his largest proxy in the region, Hezbollah, are a huge step up on the escalation ladder.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Haifa, Israel. The U.S. is not calling it a full withdrawal, but a new agreement with Iraq's government sets up the end of a U.S.-led mission to fight ISIS by next year. Not clear yet how many of the 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq might remain there after that. Water rescues continue in the southeastern U.S., where Hurricane Helene has left hundreds of miles of destruction, widespread flooding, millions without power, at least 40 dead in 4 states.
A number of dramatic rescues over the past 24 hours, perhaps none more so than in Unicoi, Tennessee, just east of Knoxville. It was a rural hospital, and they tried to get the patients out due to quickly rising flood water. They tried to get them out with ambulances, but the water was too high. Then they used boats, but it was too windy. Finally, they brought them up to the roof and used helicopters to get those patients to safety.
Fox's Steve Harrigan. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How much rain you could wind up getting. 69 degrees downtown. Plenty of that rain still falling over the monument. Don't expect skies to clear here anytime soon. 65, that's about where your low is going to settle. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. A couple of inches of rain and strong winds were expected today with remnants of Helene moving through the state.
We can start to see branches coming off of trees, maybe even a few weaker trees fall down, some shingles and siding off of houses. Minor damage overall.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service says high wind warnings and advisories are in effect for most of Indiana. Plenty of high school football games have already been postponed to another day. WIBC.com has a full list there. Also, the pop-up pickleball social presented by Franciscan Health. That was supposed to be tomorrow. That's been postponed to an undetermined date. A sting operation to catch child predators in Johnson County. John Herrick reports on the result of the operation.
It went from Tuesday through Thursday this week. Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Burgess says he had help from law enforcement agencies both inside and outside the county.
It takes a lot of time to get to the point that we were at for this 3-day operation in planning.
22 people were arrested in this one. He says each arrest like this is a step forward in ensuring the safety of our children. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
The average price you're paying for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, $3.26. According to GasBuddy.com, it's about 5 cents north of the national average. Former IndyCar driver Michael Andretti is relinquishing his ownership stake in Andretti Global. Kurt Darling reports.
Andretti has led the team since 2002 when he purchased an ownership stake in what was then Team Green. It then became Andretti Green, Andretti Autosport, and after a restructuring last year is now Andretti Global. No reason has been given yet by Andretti for his decision to leave the team. They did just complete a merger with AI company Zapata, but it's not clear if that has anything to do with Andretti's decision. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Well, the season did not end the way the Fever planned. Rookie guard Caitlin Clark is reflecting on what was ultimately a positive year one.
Yeah, championships are great, but hopefully we have a few of those. But if you want to have really good relationships with people at the end of the day.
Clark was named the Rookie of the Year by the Associated Press. Traffic and weather in 1 minute. It's 5:04.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
After having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield and recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison downtown crash, southbound 6570 after Washington Street, blocking the right lane and jamming up traffic through the north split onto westbound 70 back to Sherman. At inbound 65, also stop and go MLK into the north split. Northbound 65 coming out of the north split, slow up to 21st. Eastbound 70, stop and go from the south split back to Harding Street. Looking at the northwest side, northbound 465, stop and go traffic, 86th Street up to 865. Crash west assigned 10th Street east of Tibbs, that's at Moreland. And on the south side, Johnson County, US 31 and stop 18 road traffic lights are not working. Traffic sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renters insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com. That's progressive.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Matt. And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's...
Hello, my name is Nigel. Jerry Lopez filling in for Jason Hammer. Find him at Indy Spanglish on X. Also joining us live in the studio, WIBC News Director John Herrick. We'll go straight to the hotline and bring on Greg Mello at the National Weather Service in Indianapolis. Greg, just kind of give us an update. First of all, we'll start locally here in Indy. You might have some questions about what happened in Florida and Georgia and everything, but where are we at right now with the wind and the rain here in central Indiana?
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah, so if you guys have been out today, you've probably realized it's been raining a lot. And that's a result of the tropical remnants of Hurricane Helene moving up towards the area. And you can expect widespread rain to continue through this evening and then probably lingering through the weekend. But that's really not the biggest concern for us today. With the remnants of Helene moving in, really the big concern will be the strong wind gusts that are moving in. And it's been gusting about 35 to 45 miles per hour across much of the area, but we're thinking those stronger wind gusts are going to start moving in. And these stronger wind gusts that we've seen today are probably going to continue to increase over the next few hours as the center of the circulation continues to move closer to our area. We're thinking peak wind gusts around 45 to 55 miles per hour across much of central Indiana, with possibly some isolated higher gusts across southern portions of the area. So we think the highest gusts will probably be across southern portions of the state. Towards the north, still going to be windy, but just slightly lower peak gusts there.
Greg, does that mean power outages and downed trees and power lines and things like that with winds that, when we're talking about winds that high here?
Yes, sir, that is correct. So we have a high wind warning in effect through this evening for much of central Indiana. I mean, northern portions of the area are still going to see strong winds, but they have a wind advisory in effect. But we're already seeing some isolated power outages across the area, and we expect those to continue to increase as the winds increase over the next few hours.
When talking about hurricanes, Hurricane Helene seemed massive, and it seemed to affect the entire state of Florida, and then onward up to Georgia and some of the eastern East Coast, Tennessee. Like, how much of the remnants of Helene now, even though it's been downgraded to a tropical depression, how many states here in the south or southeast are still being affected by this thing?
It's hard to say an exact number of how many states have been affected, but yeah, a large portion of the southeast has been impacted by this, and then now extending into the Ohio Valley. So it was a rather large system, larger than I'd say most of the tropical systems we've had this year. But it's not abnormal. We do get tropical systems that vary in size, but this was a rather large tropical system. So it's impacted much of the country, or at least the eastern half of the country.
And last question, I'll let you go here. We're speaking with Greg Mello, the National Weather Service in Indianapolis. Any chance, like I'm looking at the radar now, there's some red activity in southern parts of Ohio. Any chance anything turns into some sort of tornado or anything like that in central Indy?
We're not expecting any tornado threat today with this system, no.
Good.
Hey, Greg, I got a question before you go. I got a question, Greg, before you go. A lot of these high school games have been moved to Saturday because of the high wind gust concern tonight. What do you think the winds will be like, tomorrow afternoon and maybe in the morning? Because some of these games are getting postponed till 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, sure. So tomorrow will probably still be breezy. We're still going to have the center of circulation with Helene just lingering around close to central Indiana. So we're still going to be breezy, but the winds are going to die down considerably tonight into Saturday. Thinking tomorrow morning, wind gusts around 20 to 30 miles per hour. And they might still be around the 20 to 25 mile per hour threshold tomorrow afternoon. So, yeah, it'll be breezy tomorrow, but not as bad as we're expecting today.
Got it. Hey, Greg, thanks for your help, man, and
Thanks,
we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Again, like I said, Jerry Lopez filling in for Hammer. Also in studio with us, WIBC News Director John Herrick. There are some games that have been either canceled or postponed. You can find a lot of those on WIBC.com. Tell me exactly what we're looking at here.
I think the big one of the first ones, Nigel, was Lawrence North at Ben Davis getting moved to 11 a.m. tomorrow. That was actually our sister station, Wish TV, or our news gathering partners. They were supposed to have that game on My Indy TV tonight, but that got moved to tomorrow. And then they were going to move in North Putnam and Cascade, a battle of 2 5-0 teams. That was going to take over as the game of the week, but then that got moved until 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So all these games are going to be televised at some point there tomorrow. And then Warren Central at Pike, another one that got moved to Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So Covenant Christian, Beech Grove also moved to 10 a.m. And some of the games a little bit in the further southern portions of our state and our area where they got hit harder with rain, and also they're going to have higher wind gusts. They're going to delay their games until early afternoon. So got to get through this period, of course, based on what Greg told us about how bad these wind gusts are going to be this evening, because it looks like it's going to linger on through the evening and into tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I know that big game for me today was Westfield versus Brownsburg.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Uh-oh.
That was a big one. Let's go, Rocks.
Westfield #1 in 6A, by the way.
By the way, so we're speaking with John Herrick, WIBC News Director, also sideline reporter, announcer for IU basketball and football.
Correct.
IU football curryeurly on a somewhat of a winning streak. They're at Maryland.
They're home. They're
home tomorrow.
Yeah, home against Maryland. Last year they had to go on the road to play Maryland. That game's kind of giving me PTSD thinking about it, because it did not go well for Indiana last year. But again, they have a chance to go to 5-0 for the first time since 1967 if they can win tomorrow.
What's the threshold for bowl eligibility?
Got to get to 6. Got to get to 6 wins.
Got to get to 6.
They came close last year. Look, they were 3-6, and they had 3 opportunities to win 3 straight games, and they lost every one of those last 3 games by a possession. And one thing their new coach, Curt Cignetti, thrives on is close games and one-possession games. So, and they're favored by 6.5 tomorrow, so it should be interesting.
Coach Sig, very popular with the players and the students and the fans of IU.
Very much so.
Yeah, he's came in and made a difference, obviously.
Yeah, might remember when he came onto the scene last year in December, he came to a basketball game and he said, Purdue sucks. So does Michigan and Ohio State. The crowd went berserk. And a big thing that's going on around campus is people are wearing what looks like T-shirts that have Sig on them or Signetti. It looks like cigarettes. Yes.
It has the Marlboro red
right.
logo. I don't know if you call it a logo, just kind of the symbol.
It's a Sig
that's on every.
That's great.
Sig. I'm sure IU just loves that.
Yeah. There's another one where I think it's like he's almost getting propelled forward, like as if he's a rocket launcher, and it's like a whole bunch of cigarettes that look like they're shooting him off. So the IU students and the fan base have gotten creative with these Curt Cignetti puns.
I'm sure the administration loves that. One more question about the like strength of schedule within the Big Ten. There's so many other teams that have been added now. IU seems like they are maybe benefiting. I don't know how much you could. I know you are an employee of IU, so I don't want to make you. You know, it might be kind of. I don't want to say biased. You got to be careful what you say, but I want to know about the strength of schedule for IU as compared to Purdue and some of the other teams within the Big Ten.
Well, historically, Purdue fans are going to hate this, but this is the truth. IU has always had a tougher schedule because they've been in the same division before in years past with Penn State and Ohio State and Michigan. Purdue's been in the Big Ten West. IU's in the Big Ten East. The divisions are gone away. So IU's schedule actually eased up a little bit, but they still have to play Michigan at home this year, and they still have to go to Ohio State.
Okay.
So the schedule's not easy. It's been favorable for them up to this point to tune them up and get them ready, but Maryland's no walk in the park. They have to go to Michigan State, and Michigan State is playing well. Michigan State is a team that beat Maryland earlier this year. So schedule's still tough, but I would say it's not as tough as it has been, if that makes sense.
But it's also not UCLA traveling to the East Coast to play at 1 like that sucks.
That was that was a tough trip for me. The hard part of that was the jet lag because you didn't have really a day.
You're young,
right? I know
you're fine.
But it was, hey, you know what? When you go in there and play as well as they played and win by 29, the trip seems worth it, doesn't it?
So you will be on the air tomorrow
at 11 o'clock.
Where and when can we find the IU game
on our sister station 93.5 107.5 The Fan. We go on at 11. Kickoff is at noon.
WIBC News Director John Herrick, thank you, my man.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Let's hit Matt Bear with traffic.
All right, Nigel, check it out. A crash southbound 6570 crash after Washington Street. Yeah, this is blocking the right lane, stopping traffic through the north split back to Sherman Drive on westbound 70. This also causes I-65 to continue to be stop and go MLK to the north split. Eastbound 70 stop and go traffic from Harding into the south split. On the northeast side, northbound 465 slows east 56 up to I-69 and southbound 465 stop and go traffic from 70 to 74. Crash on the west side, that's 10th east of Tibbs and lights out in Johnson County. US 31 is stop 18. Traffic sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. They run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Jerry Lopez, Indy, Spanglish, filling in for Hammer. We are like a half hour away from Beer Sample Friday. I brought us kind of a different selection. I'll let you choose. So we're going to do that here probably around 5:45, 5:50 or so, if that's
it's the only reason I'm here today, Nigel. That's it.
All right. What is 70 right now with some rain and drizzle at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Cindy Carrasco has spent a career holding the powerful accountable. As Indiana's Inspector General and Director of the State Ethics Commission, Cindy fought waste, fraud, and abuse wherever she found it. Cindy also combated wrongdoing in state government, which meant standing up and doing the right thing even if it wasn't popular. Now, as our state senator, Cindy Carrasco continues to fight on behalf of all Hoosiers by improving the quality of our children's education, providing tax relief for everyone, and working to make our communities safe by getting law enforcement the resources they need to fight crime, violence, and keep fentanyl away from our families. It's why Cindy has been endorsed by the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, State Police Alliance, and the Professional Firefighters of Indiana. Because they know that Cindy has their back, and we know she has ours. Vote for more government transparency, better schools, lower taxes, and safer streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for State Senate.
Paid for by Cindy for Senate.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life. And that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
PA Jewelers in Brownsburg is your place for fine jewelry, custom pieces, one-of-a-kind pieces, vintage pieces, and also your place to sell jewelry. 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms. You have old jewelry from grandma or jewelry you don't wear anymore? Come sell it for top dollar at PA Jewelers. I've sold jewelry there. My wife has. You're going to love the prices. PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, premierarms.com.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Oh, Downy the rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Contact Zero Res now for 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $119 and take $75 off air duct cleaning. Book online at zeroresindy.com for huge savings.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Yeah, Nigel, Jerry Lopez. Find him at Indy Spanglish on X, filling in for Hammer, Hurricane Helene. Now a tropical storm, depression, about 125 miles southeast of Louisville. But, man, this thing killed 40 people in several different states. At least as of now, more than 4 million homes and businesses still without power across the eastern United States. We have high wind gusts happening here in Indiana. So keep it locked right here to 93 WIBC for all the latest. I saw this thing. I'd never seen this before, but apparently it's been done, and I just didn't hear about it. The danger of the hurricane was highlighted to Floridians, right? Like, hey, look, you decide to hunker down and don't evacuate. Got a little advice for you. They were told, here, I'll just read the statement. Please write your name, birthday, and important information on your arm or leg in permanent marker so that you can be identified and family notified. Implying that if you hunker down and you try to ride this thing out and you don't make it, you're going to need to be identified. So maybe take a Sharpie and write your social security number, driver's license, name, phone number, any pertinent information on your leg or forearm.
Yeah, we can't make you leave, but if you're going to stay, do us a solid. All right, don't make my day hell looking to see who the heck you are, Nige. Write your name on there, then I know who you are, then we can move on with it.
Storm surges up to 20 feet, winds well over 100 miles per hour at one point with this thing, man. So, yeah, definitely we're seeing an inconvenience here in Indiana, but a lot of people having some definite problems and a lot of trouble. And thankfully, there are even people from Indiana going down to help the recovery effort down in Florida, in Georgia, in those states. All right, Mr. Todd Rokita, Attorney General of Indiana, please, if you would.
Legal stuff.
Crime, punishment, judges. Legal stuff.
Legal stuff.
Jerry, you see all the trouble New York City Mayor Eric Adams is getting into?
Oh, yeah, big surprise. Big surprise there.
He is indicted by a grand jury, charges some federal probe. They're saying he received a bunch of foreign and corporate campaign donations for a decade in exchange for influence.
Yeah, they're saying this is attached to Turkey, the country of Turkey.
Yeah.
$100,000 worth of trips and all this stuff. So I don't understand. I understand that states operate kind of independently, so Governor Holcomb needs to go kind of drum up business for Indiana. I get that. But I don't think that our governors really have business in Turkey.
Well, apparently Eric Adams is... he says he's the subject of a target. 1 year ago, you'll remember Eric Adams, again, the mayor of New York City, was vehemently against Joe Biden and his administration and the influx of illegal immigrants destroying New York City, and he was immediately targeted.
And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We had a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted.
Or just stop housing illegal.
Oh, well, what do you know? He was all about the sanctuary cities before it actually started happening.
It's all good as long as it's not happening to you.
City. So if Adams steps down or goes to jail, it's going to be even worse because he's got this lunatic, what's his name? Jermaine Williams would be the acting mayor. He's the New York City public advocate who's next in line. He's, anti-police, race-baiting lunatic, was all about the mandates and the lockdowns. Here is Eric Adams after being, the first sitting mayor in New York City to be indicted while in office, his defiant response.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies. But they would not be surprising. I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target. And a target I became. For months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. Just this past week, they searched the home of our new police commissioner, looking for documents from 20 years ago, just 1 week after he joined my administration. Enough. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit. If I'm charged, I know I am innocent.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a supercut of New York City Mayor Eric Adams. His favorite catchphrase has gone viral. He loves comparing New York to other cities.
Everyone knows that New York City is the Athens of America. It's the Istanbul of America. It's the Kiev of America. It's the Seoul of America. We are the Tel Aviv of America. New York City is the Islamabad of America. The Zagreb of America. We are the Lima of America. New York City is Mexico City of America. This is the Dublin of America, New York City.
And now you're mad they all showed up? The Irish heard this the Dublin of America, so they showed up. It's the Lima of... Here come the Peruvians.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. Real quick, because we have a very special guest coming in. We're going to cover a bunch of stuff with Donald Trump, the latest polling, how much of a disaster Kamala Harris and her interviews are, but what's even worse is her policies with Breitbart News Washington Bureau Chief, one of our favorite, one of the best, Matt Boyle, coming up a little bit after 5:30. But you sent me this here in the next 30 seconds. Jerry, plastic surgery procedures by state. The most searched plastic surgery procedures by state.
Yeah.
California, breast implants. That would make sense. Okay. Texas, the most searched for plastic surgery procedure, liposuction. In fact, that's a very common search around Texas, around some of the southern, southeastern portions of the United States. Indiana, penis enlargement.
And not just Indiana. This is plaguing the Midwest.
It's like Kentucky and Michigan. Yeah, it's all over the place. All right, Matt Boyle next after a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's only the start of storms. Rainy 69 degrees downtown. Rain's covering about half the state when you take a look at the radar. Low of about 65 expected tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:29. All this rain you've been getting today will continue into the weekend.
Just rain showers on and off, lingering through Sunday, maybe even into Monday. The heavy amounts are going to be over as well. The bulk of it's going to fall today, 1 to 3 inches.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service says the biggest concerns with this weather are strong winds and possible flooding. Several of the high school football games and other events have already been put on hold. WIBC.com has a full list. The U.S. and Iraqi governments may have a deal to begin ending the presence of American troops in the country. Fox's Jared Halpern reports.
A phased withdrawal would see U.S. troops operating in Iraq through at least 2026 to support anti-ISIS operations, but some troops will begin leaving bases next year. How many of the roughly 2,500 American troops serving in Iraq was not detailed by administration officials, but a Pentagon spokesperson says it is fair to say the footprint is changing. U.S. troops have been deployed to Iraq since an invasion in 2003 ousted former leader Saddam Hussein. Iraqi leaders have since faced pressure to see the withdrawal of coalition forces from the country. Negotiations with the U.S. to wind down or reduce a military presence have been going on for months. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Former President Donald Trump is campaigning in Michigan today, sharing his thoughts on how he thinks Vice President Kamala Harris has handled the problem of illegal immigration.
She let our cities fail to violent gangs. She let our American sons and daughters be raped and murdered at the hands of vicious monsters. She let American communities be conquered.
Harris stopped at the border today where she's promised to try and stop fentanyl from coming into the country. The Indiana Pacers have bike share stations now around the state. The team announced Friday that a new station's opening up in Hallville. Here's Sasha Nixon.
The bike share program allows Marion County residents to ride the bikes for free for up to 30 minutes before being charged, and out-of-county residents can pay to ride. This new station can be found on West Michigan Street at Warman Avenue. It is meant to be more accessible to all riders with information in English and Spanish. Learn more about the Pacers Bike Share program at pacersbikeshare.org. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
And Graciela Miranda has been named Indiana's Teacher of the Year by the Indiana Department of Education. She teaches English over at Pike High School, not far from here. She's been working in education for 23 years. And with traffic at 532, what's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison Southside crash. It's US 31 at Stomp 11 Road. Reported as 2 vehicles, possible entrapment. Also, traffic lights now working on US 31 in Johnson County. This is 31 at Stop 18 Road. They are out. People are working on them. Please take turns. Looking at downtown southbound 65 as 70 crash after Washington Street, blocking the right lane, stopping us through the north split back to World Street on westbound 70. Also backed up to southbound at 65 21st Street. And then on the northeast side, northbound 465 slows from East 56th Street up to 75th. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go with the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Friday night, with the remnants of the tropical storm moving our way, it'll be rainy and windy early, but calming down with cloudy conditions overnight. Low temperatures drop to the mid-60s as we move into tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. I'm Nigel. Jimmy Lopez. You can find him at Indy Spanglish on X, filling in for Jason Hammer. And we'll go straight to the hotline and bring on Breitbart Washington Bureau Chief Matt Boyle. Matt, I know you just got done interviewing Donald Trump not too long ago. We're going to go over Trump, the polling, the campaign. We'll go over to Kamala Harris's camp. Let's start there, as a matter of fact, because, you know, it's all fun and games when we talk about Kamala Harris and these horrible interviews she's given to Oprah and to Stephanie Ruhle and the word salads and saying holistic 3 times. But people really need to be cognizant of the fact that she is not a good candidate and has horrible policies, right?
Yeah, look, I think that voters across the country are showing us, and the polling data is showing this, the early vote data is showing this, et cetera, that the American public doesn't trust Kamala Harris, and she's not that good of a candidate in terms of being able to convince people to trust her. In fact, President Trump told me that the person who was most embarrassed by her interview with Oprah was Oprah. Oprah, he said, wanted to crawl under the table, was his words, right? Like he said, she wanted to crawl under the table because of how bad it was. And, you know, and Trump and Oprah have a really long relationship that long predates Donald Trump's time in politics. Of course, he was on her show as far back as the 80s. He had a regular relationship with her. She did events at Mar-a-Lago. He talked to me about that. You know, and then he says he doesn't speak to her anymore because of politics, right? Like, but the fact is that that interview was just terrible for Kamala Harris, and then the Stephanie Ruhle interview was similarly bad, and she didn't answer the questions. And Ruhle's on this like media tour all over MSNBC talking about her interview, and the thing she keeps pointing out is that Kamala Harris didn't answer the questions, right? Like, because Kamala Harris can't answer the questions because she doesn't have the depth, she's daft, right? Like, she doesn't have a firm understanding of the issues. And frankly, you know, again, think what you will about Hillary Clinton. At least Hillary Clinton had a command of the issues, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that people are noticing is every time Kamala comes around, it's with an entertainer, it's with a musician, it's with some celebrity. It's never about her and her policy and her plan for the United States. It's let me bring out some entertainer to bring people out, whether it's a free concert with Megan Thee Stallion in Atlanta. She has to do this to get crowds because I don't think her campaign alone is very energized. And now that the DNC is over and now we're doing just media hits, people are really come to terms with she's really not saying anything, like you said.
Yeah, and I think that lack of substance that you see from Kamala Harris is really costing her significantly. Look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you're voting for president of the United States. You may or may not like the person. You may or may have issues with the person, whatever. But the fact is that is this person qualified to do the job? And in the case of Donald Trump, the answers are resounding yes. Obviously, he's done the job before, and he did a really good job as president. In the case of Kamala Harris, the answers are resounding no. Like, we now see the evidence, right? Like, we see her on display out there. She can't even answer answer the question, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? She can't answer the question of how she's going to lower prices. She can't answer the question of how she's going to secure the border. All she does is keep reverting back to these nonsensical talking points. But I do think that the big picture here is that Kamala Harris is on the run. She's losing. She's getting closed out in the in the Sun Belt states. We're seeing the polls in North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, really boxing her out there. And assuming Trump is able to put the Sun Belt out of reach for Kamala Harris, in the latest poll out of Arizona, where Kamala Harris is today, has Donald Trump up 6, well outside the margin of error in that survey. That's from USA Today, Suffolk University, no conservative, right? I mean, so Donald Trump has a clear and convincing lead in Arizona. He has a clear and convincing lead in Georgia. He's locking down North Carolina. Things are looking good there. In Nevada, I think as goes Arizona, so will go Nevada. So the fact is that it's looking very strong for Trump in those places. So then that means that if Trump is able to lock those down, hold his 2020 states, the race moves then to Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Kamala Harris is going to have to retreat to the upper Rust Belt very soon, and probably to Virginia. Things are looking strong for Trump out of Virginia. We've seen a latest poll out of there today. Has Kamala only up 3 early voting across the Commonwealth, has the red areas turning out in big numbers, the blue areas not so much. And the fact is that the mail votes in Pennsylvania, the absentee ballot requests are way down for the Democrats, are way up for the Republicans, and numbers are looking strong across those places. So as Kamala's doing her last ditch Hail Mary pass to try to keep North Carolina and Arizona alive. She's already losing in Georgia. She tried that earlier this week with the nonsensical, rambling abortion speeches, and she's on defense. So
Matt,
Donald Trump's on offense.
All those things sound fantastic, Matt, but it wasn't just 4 years ago where I thought he had it sewn up, dude. I thought it was a done deal. Here comes our second presidency, and overnight there's this big dump of votes or whatever, and we woke up and Donald Trump was the loser. So what do we plan to do differently, or what does Trump plan to do differently? Or maybe it's just on conservatives going, hey, we need to come out here and just flood them with
on Republicans.
So many people so they can't cheat or do whatever, because I felt like this was the case last time and he lost.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that the mail votes were banked for the Democrats before the election. Right, and that's what the Republicans are doing better this time, and the Democrats aren't. Right, so they're chasing ballots across the board. There are organizations like PA Chase, which is led by Cliff Maloney in Pennsylvania. There's Turning Point Action, led by Charlie Kirk out in Arizona, Georgia, and in Wisconsin. And the Turning Point guys are active in Pennsylvania too. And then so on and so on and so forth. Right, so what the Republicans need to do is they need to beat the Democrats at their own game, and they do that. The election day is no longer election day. Right, it's election season, right? And so the fact is that while it looked like the polls were closing, and it was a really tight race, right? Look, it was 40,000 votes across 3 states. It was the difference between the two of them, something like that. The fact is that the Democrats try to expand the time and so on and so forth, but the Republicans just got to beat them at their own game, and I think they're doing that right now. So there's a lot of good signs out there. Nothing's in the bag, and nobody should treat it as such. But I would much rather be Trump than Kamala Harris at this point. And I think that it's pretty clear that she is fading in the Sun Belt. She's losing the ability to keep the door open in Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina, and that's going to force her to retreat to the upper Rust Belt very soon.
How important, what does the polling say? We're speaking with Breitbart Washington Bureau Chief Matt Boyle. How important and what does the polling say about the running mates? J.D. Vance running on the ticket with Donald Trump, and then we like to call him Old Balls Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, running mate with Kamala Harris. Polling for them, who do voters trust more?
Yeah, J.D. Vance is who voters trust more. This is according to Senate Opportunity Fund polling that we obtained exclusively the other day at Breitbart. J.D. Vance is trusted more on the economy and inflation, on national security, and on immigration, by significant numbers, like several percentage points more than Tim Walz. And then Walz, when you inform voters of the fact that he's under congressional investigation into his ties to the Chinese Communist Party, he took dozens of trips to China as a teacher and as a member of the Minnesota National Guard. His service, by the way, he lied about repeatedly. But the fact is that when he was in their service, he was going to China all the time. And when you inform people about that, more than 50% say they trust him less. They trust Walz less on the issues. And so I think that we'll see a real clear contrast on the debate stage on Tuesday night in New York on CBS when J.D. Vance and Tim Walz face off, and that could be a real seminal moment in the campaign.
And finally, before we let you go, just a little bit more about your latest interview with Donald Trump and what we can expect from his campaign in the next few weeks.
Yeah, he's going to be really ramping up events, and you're already seeing it over the course of this week. Of course, he did that big economic speech earlier this week in Savannah, Georgia. He's in Michigan today. Tomorrow morning, or early afternoon, he's in Wisconsin, and then he'll be going to the big Alabama-Georgia game in Tuscaloosa, Alabama tomorrow night. But you're going to see him mixing together events across the board. He's going to be very aggressive on the campaign trail on the home stretch.
Epic work, as always, from Breitbart News Washington Bureau Chief Matt Boyle. Find his stuff, Breitbart.com, including his latest interview with Donald Trump. Matt, we'll talk to you soon, man. Have a good weekend.
All right, cool. Talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Beer Sample Friday's next. I got us a beer. You want to try some beer?
Can't wait.
Want to drink some beer? All right, me and Jerry Lopez. Beer Sample Friday coming up next on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela from the Michaelis Corporation. If you see mold growth in your home or business, you need to get it checked out by a professional. Michaela, why should someone with mold call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local and family-owned business for over 39 years. Our inspections are free and we're IICRC certified. Michaelis will sample the mold and has full remediation services if needed. Many times it is not needed, but we want to ensure it is not a dangerous type of mold.
It's important to know what you're dealing with, and should it be something that is a problem, does Michaelis help with the insurance process for mold remediation?
Absolutely. We handle working with insurance throughout the process to give you peace of mind.
If you suspect mold, call the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Whether it's the good food or the friendly mood, you can count on Indiana to never lose when it comes to tailgating. And we want to see you at every game. That's why Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. So kick off the season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified. Luxury. Even the hard-to-find ones. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Keep the tradition alive, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
After college, Mike Braun could have gone anywhere. He chose to move back to his hometown of Jasper, Indiana. There, he started a small business, kept his head down, worked hard, and turned his small business into a national company, employing thousands of Hoosiers. He'll use that same determination for us. Lead the charge on lowering the price of gas, groceries, energy. Take on the big healthcare companies to increase healthcare access and lower costs. And Mike will improve education across our state by increasing school choice. Mike will make our streets safer, back the blue, and stop illegal immigration if the federal government won't. Because Braun believes every Hoosier should be safe and secure in their community. As governor, Braun will continue working for Hoosiers. Because when you're Mike, working hard is just what you do. Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Make your game day experience the best it can be. The Colts VIP Tailgate, presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration, exclusively from BullseyeEventGroup.com. The party is on for every Colts home game with an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink VIP experience and DJ Skids providing the entertainment. Live large and pregame like a pro. If you need tickets to the game, Bullseye Event Group can help you in that department too. Make sure you're part of the party before the next Colts home game. Go to BullseyeEventGroup.com. That's BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Progressive Insurance offers you auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today. That's Progressive.com.
Any heating and air conditioning problem you've got, we can take care of you. 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Matt Baer, what's going on with traffic?
Nigel, downtown crash cleanup continues southbound 6570 after Washington Street. Right lane has blocked traffic jammed through the north split onto westbound 70 back to Sherman Drive. And southbound 65 still stopping with traffic from 21st to Meridian Penn. Crash south side stop 11 Road. That's stop 11 Road at US 31. Also a crash on the east side, German Church Road at 25th, and one at 34th at Forest Manor Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 Cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
70 and rain at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center on 93 WIBC. Right now,
Hammer and Nigel present Beer Sample.
Fry.
I got some beers. Let's drink them, huh?
Beer's on sale, people. Come down and
get you some. Jerry Lopez, Indy Spanglish, filling in for Hammer. Sometimes we do celebrity. You've done the celebrity beer bong challenge, right?
I did.
How did you do? Was I here for that?
So that was the first beer I ever bonged ever, and it was me and Hatcher. I think I did mine in like 6 seconds. He smashed me, but
yeah,
I didn't embarrass myself, which is good.
We'll put this on hold. We're brought to you by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. We'll put the celebrity beer bong on hold. I brought a couple of beers in the fridge here today, and you get your choice. So I'll give you your choice. Foggy Geezer. It's a hazy India Pale Ale. War Pigs Brewing. This is from Munster, Indiana. I think it's an offshoot of Three Floyds.
Okay.
It's got about 7.3.
I'm a Three Floyds fan.
7.3% alcohol. Another one of our favorite places we've discovered through our relatives, Dave and Alex. They like this Urban Artifact Brewery, and I believe this is Cincinnati, and I think they only do sours. So this is a peaches and cream nitro fruit tart.
That's two. Yes, so, I don't eat fruit on Fridays. So,
so you're gonna go with the Foggy Geezer?
In the words of Diddy, give me the Foggy Geezer.
All right. Would you like a plastic cup? Would you like a cup along with that?
Sure.
Or would you? Here you go.
That's a pretty nice looking can, by the way. I'll show the YouTube chat, but I've never.
I think a Foggy Geezer.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool can.
And
cool artwork.
And again, that's War Pigs USA Brewing. I believe that's like a Black Sabbath reference.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Three Floyds offshoot, 7.3% alcohol. Now I have I'll take it. I'll take the peaches and cream nitro fruit tart.
Then you can at least tell the wife you had fruit today.
a little girly. And actually, I think, oh boy, I hope this wasn't the last one because this is my wife's favorite. I don't keep much beer in the fridge anymore.
You can't keep it. Yeah. Can't keep it.
Because I drink it so much. So cheers to you, Jerry, on Beer Sample Friday. Tell me how it is, your hazy IPA over there. Ooh, that's good.
That's actually really good.
Urban Artifact, Peaches and Cream, my beer of choice, 7.1% alcohol.
Yeah, this Foggy Geezer is actually very good. I've never heard of it. I would buy a case of this. It's good.
Munster, Indiana, ladies and gentlemen.
It's really and the artwork is phenomenal. Like legitimately, this is pretty cool for a can.
I want to go back to something you sent me. The most searched for plastic surgery procedures by state. We were doing this before we got on the phone with Matt Boyle from Breitbart. Now, breast implants, it looks like most of the...
Which would be common. That's a common search.
Western portion of the United States was for California, Nevada, Washington, even Idaho. There was also lip injections.
Is that West Coast?
No, that's still kind of next to Texas there. That's New Mexico.
What's Florida?
Florida's liposuction. Okay. Much of the southern, eastern United States is liposuction. Now, something else interesting, like, okay, so Indiana and Kentucky, Missouri, penis enlargement.
Yeah.
That's the most searched for.
Yeah.
Is that really a thing?
I don't know.
I don't, like, could you have a procedure on your crank?
Yeah, you get like a little pump thing. Because people have issues. They got, fun fact, I know somebody who works in that industry, and it's like a pump thing. Yeah. So, like, you remember the old D, you remember the, what was his name?
D's nuts?
You got me. No. Like he won the dunk contest. Remember he had the Reebok, you pump up your shoes?
Yeah, D Brown.
Imagine having that before you go on your date, like.
So, but you have to go around with a pumped up crank?
Yeah, or you just let the air out. Yeah. No, for real, that's a real thing, Nigel.
Now, I believe up in one of the Dakotas here, cover your ears, Allison, because this is the only one I see on here. The most searched for plastic surgery procedure is vaginal rejuvenation.
I didn't know that was a thing either.
Well, you're a man.
Yeah. So I should be looking at the other thing.
I didn't. Yeah. I'm going to leave Allison out of this. I'm sure she'd rather just pretend she didn't hear that. I noticed she's not volunteering any comment. She's not grabbing the microphone or anything.
My mic's not working. Sorry.
It's not working. Okay. And then a lot of it is laser hair removal, if I didn't already say that. Now, something you should look up is hair rejuvenation. Like Rob Kendall does that. JMV has done the thing where they have the procedure where they have, they were balding, they were receding, like I am.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. No, it's just listen. For those of you that know me, I am balder than a baby's butt.
Yeah, look here. If you're watching on YouTube right now, look. Yeah, I've got the
I'm balder than a baby's butt.
Receding hair. They asked me if I wanted to do it, and I'm just like, And Rob's hair looks good. Boy, JMV.
I would have never have guessed, honestly.
JMV from our sister sports talk station looks great.
Oh,
Rob looks
I talk
great.
to him all the time. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that
you
is
couldn't
really
even tell?
good. No, that's really good, actually. Dan.
Yeah. So
I thought it would look like fake turf.
It's down to the top two were penis enlargement and breast implants. Thank you for participating in a Beer Sample Friday. We'll be right back with Wish TV meteorologist Tara Hastings, figuring out the aftermath of Hurricane Helene and what waits for us next. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show on a Beer Sample Friday.
Hi, it's T. Brian Hayes here from the Retirement Money Matters Show. Recently, we did our Back to School for Your Retirement show. Back to school is not just for students anymore. You must make sure your retirement education is continued each and every year due to all the many changes that happen each year in the financial arena. Now it's time for your retirement test. Join me this weekend as we test your retirement knowledge by asking you some questions to see just how retirement savvy you are. The Retirement Money Matters Show airs this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WIBC.
Hi, this is Zach Ingledow from Ingledow Tree Experts. When it comes to the health and beauty of your trees, trust Ingledow Tree Experts. Our certified arborists ensure your trees are trimmed, removed, and cared for with precision. Fall is the perfect time for tree maintenance. Call now for your free estimate and let us handle the hard work. Give me a call, 317-903-0102, or visit ingledowtreeexperts.com for more information. Ingledow Tree Experts, where your trees come first.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens.
This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
I want a doll, a bike, and a new puppy.
Kids don't always ask for what they need. Give the littlest Hoosiers in your life a gift that starts today and will last forever, the gift of education. An Indiana 529 plan provides education savings for tomorrow while you enjoy generous tax benefits today. There are flexible investment options and a convenient mobile app. Get started with as little as $10 at myindiana529.com. Read the disclosure booklet carefully before investing. Sponsored by Indiana 529.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Marek Mazurek. A pair of subsidiaries of Fishers-based American Resources Corporation have signed a memorandum of understanding with Lohum Cleantech, a battery recycling and reuse company in India. Re-Element Technologies and American Metals